Thanks for that, Adara. Guys, welcome to the closing show. Futures are in positive territory, whether we're looking at the ES or the NQ. The NQ up 0.4, the ES up 0.31, but it really has been oil that's been standing out, guys. 3 1/3% now as we reclaim that $75 area, knock on the door of 76. It's been a strong day for oil. Yields to the downside as well, but let's get right into that rundown. First topic is Apple. Apple, very weak day today relative to all the other Mag 7 names. 0.3 to the downside. In case you're wondering why, the ITC ruled that they cannot sell any more of their Apple Watch 9s or Ultras in the United States as a result of a patent infringement with another company called Massimo. The Biden administration had veto power. They could have overruled that decision. They chose not to. So Apple will have to find another solution in the market, making them pay today, guys. Breaking down through 193. Is there a trade on Apple?
Well, welcome back, first of all. It's been a short on Apple pretty much the entirety of the day. And unfortunately, the market's having it's a good day, not a great day, but 0.4%. Like we've been saying, like if you get 0.5% every single day, it's fantastic for the overall market. But Apple, my take is that everything is going to be fine here, but it's been selling off since it got to that 200 level. We said that this morning, and we've been favoring the short on this stock for the last week and a half, and this is yet another stair step down. So while it's not a gigantic range, you had some key levels come in. First, the Friday afternoon 194 level, so I'll just come in there. It failed up in front of 194 this morning. We shorted that. Tried a short, which wasn't VWAP, which is silly, and then have been shorting VWAP retracements ever since into 193.30. That's what I'm sitting in right now. It just bounced off the low of the day, but this stock has been a fade. Whether or not they get this figured out in weeks or months, I think for overall sales, they'll probably be fine. Like, how many people are really scared about this? We were talking about it this morning. If you were buying an Apple, if you like the Apple Watch, whether or not you have to buy it in the middle of next year, or you got one for Christmas now, or you buy it in the first quarter next year, this will get solved. And oddly enough, it's probably not a feature that I think 99% of the people that own an Apple Watch care about. So at the end of the day, I think they'll be fine here. It's a relatively weak name in a strong-ish market that's holding the tops. Just find something trending in the other direction if you want to look for a short. So that has been Apple here today. As I said, I think the company will be fine. You just got to be leaning on the trade at least for now. At some point, there's going to be a buying opportunity, I think, in Apple at some point next year. Just at these levels, not really seeing it yet.
All right, I'm just, my positions aren't going to show up until I take another fill, but I'm short Affirm, Amazon, DraftKings, and Meta, and I'm long Roblox. Those will all come up in a minute. Trying to get some more shares short of Meta. We're just short right here, right now. We're able to take something out at 353, or 354. Let's see if it can fall a little bit lower. And once we get in a fill, they'll all show up. Look, I think Apple is pretty simple, man. I mean, Sharif talked about it. He first bought it at 180, then bought more at 170, then bought more at 160. I think this is an answer to the question of, like, you know, what do you do when Apple goes against you? I think you just kind of buy more. It's kind of just like a proxy against the market. But we've already sort of talked a little bit about what to do if you are nervous. And the good thing is that we talked about this, what to do if you are nervous, like many, many moons ago, when you were up near 197, 198. Now it's down to 193. Should you sell now? Maybe not. I think now if you sell, worried about getting it back in above 200, that's $7 you're giving up. That might be a lot, so you do give up a little bit there. If you get out now and then get back in once we break 200, I feel like that trade was more responsible up here, like now 197, 198. So for right now, let's just wait to see what happens with Apple, but I still think it's a short until we get that news that there is a deal and the watches can be sold again. It's very, very simple. It's like 17% or something of their revenues was the watch in the United States. It's not like a big part of their wearables, the United States, although obviously it's a huge market, so we need to get that solved. But I'm not super worried about it. There's too much money involved. Massimo and everybody needs to get it figured out, and I think that they will. So I still say you go long Apple, but I'm not going to go long until we come in here and hear that news and the story is solved.
Yeah, it's some sound advice, Sean, to be honest. All right, guys, next on the list, Intel. What a day it has been for Intel today. 4.83%. We are knocking on the door of that 5% day. In case you're just joining us, $3.2 billion is going to find its way into Intel's pockets vis-a-vis the Israeli government to basically help them build a $25 billion foundry in the south of Israel. This is not the first time Intel is expanding into other markets. They got 2 foundries under construction in the United States and another one in Europe. Guys, it's been an interesting look for this. Because they're going to have to spend about $16.6 billion as well to pay back the Israeli government, whether by way of services or goods from the local economy. Intel knocking on the door of that 5 1/3, guys. What is the look at these extended levels?
So the interesting thing about Intel is, before maybe, it was actually probably like 20 minutes ago. I was going to say 5 minutes ago. But about 20 minutes ago, I was going to turn to Sean and was saying to myself, in January, I think one of the first things that I'm going to do in the new year, some point in the new year, is I'm looking to sell a piece of Intel to continue to build a position in ARM Holdings, because I like them for the semi space. A lot of times I don't really super actively manage from my personal account, but a lot of things that I do is like little window dressing, where if I want something in the semi space, I'm going to sell something that I already have. And Intel's been a great run. It's doubled since that triple bottom at 25. I think if it gets into the mid-50s, like 52's next resistance, I think the mid-50s can be a good spot where you might see it slow down and chop around a little bit. But it's been on an absolute tear. Today, I did have a short at the 50 level, so that's going to be the frustrating part, because when you do that and it blew through the 50, I was short this at like 96 when it happened, and it didn't print 01s or anything like that. Like that was a print that actually printed in the 4s and 5s if you tried to short it in front. So you didn't get slipped by like 1 cent when it broke the even dollar level. But it's been a long ever since. I went right back into longing it after. It's been the longs that have paid, obviously, on Intel. This morning, basically, we're only looking for longs off the 49 level, and now it's the long off of 50. Every even dollar has mattered. And the high, 50.43. So the last long I had is 50.19. It just got into the mid-30s just now. If it breaks the 50s, I want to continue to hold it. I don't think we have a chance of seeing that 52 resistance today, but that's the next level up on the daily. On the off chance we might get there this week. I think there can be a sell somewhere around that 52 on the daily chart on Intel. But until we get there, what an absolute rocket ship Intel has been. Everything they've done has been working out for them. I think the ability to be able to expand their foundry business is going to be key. And then you've had them competing in the AI space as well, which got a bit of a jump last week as well.
All right. Again, it should be the easiest trade of the day, and I don't have it on again. We talked about it right there. Such a key level of 50. Worth taking the break long for a quick scalp. It's about as easy as it could be. Don't have it. Sucks. And, that should be what it is. Yeah, hit up the sticky note, and hopefully I'll follow it myself. I mean, it's such a, first of all, we're short meta. That's fine. We'll wait on that one. But yeah, sometimes you just miss these opportunities, and there has been nothing easier, honestly, than this. There's 50. I mean, it breaks it, never even goes against you. This is probably just one of those trades that, I don't know, it could have been a month maker for sure. If you had it, it's not like it ripped up that much. I don't think you would have traded at that many shares. But again, just pretty simple. I mean, there's always simple trades. There's just another one. So here's another simple trade. Breaking through on a long. Strong name, strong everything, simple name. Should have been long this. I don't mind going short, like Neil was saying, ahead of it. That's the same kind of a trade. Whether or not it's at, it rips up and comes down. There's always going to be short 50 calls as well. But it's like once you get short, then I just feel like once it breaks there, you kind of give it back. I don't know, even if you gave back like 20 cents, anyways, it's been nicely up. We'll see what happens here in the afternoon. Market kind of flat now, which is what we expect. I consider this a nice win, up 0.5%. You could keep doing that for the next couple of days, and then there's that Santa Claus rally that we mentioned. So Intel continues to make moves higher, and I don't think there's anything wrong. I finally bought shares of this like at $26, $27 for the first time. It's not a huge position, wish it was, as Intel just continues to go up.
All right, guys, next on the list, Tesla, the strongest of the Mag 7 names today. up nicely here on the day, 2%, and been knocking the door of that 258. Hasn't been able to quite break through Friday's high, which took us to about 258 and a quarter, but good nonetheless. Some couple of contradictory headlines today. One good, one bad. With respect to the good, we got deliveries for China's weekly EV deliveries, which was 18,500 above the previous week, which was 18,300 for Tesla. So that's a 1.09% increase. The bad news was this issue with the doors. About 120,000 Model S's and Model X's in the United States were affected with the unlocking and opening of the doors during a crash. Tesla says that they're going to be updating that vis-a-vis an over-the-air update. Doesn't seem to affect it on the day, though, up nicely, 2%.
No, and we sort of talked about recalls with Tesla this morning, and you made a great point. If there's no inconvenience, it's just a software update, and there's no gigantic, it's not as big of a cost. Lumping it in with when Ford has to physically have 100,000 vehicles or whatever happens go physically into dealerships, and that can be a bit of a pain in the butt if you've ever had to deal with that, which most people have. So it's a different story, and ultimately Tesla didn't care here today. It retraced all of Friday's move pretty much to a T because we closed at 52.5, and that was near where the bottom is, and it's all the way up top. Now, I don't have any trades in Tesla. I'm in Rivian just now, and one of the reasons is Rivian's under VWAP while Tesla is retesting Friday's high. Now, this has been resistance on Tesla up top. 258 to 260 has been a big resistance zone, and you got a double top going into it today. So I'd be a little bit wary about this breaking out. Outside of, if you can find a tight enough consolidation off the 58, maybe there's a scalp trade off of that high, but it is stair-stepping to the upside. And when I see that, and I see the market up, I simply looked at Rivian, which failed underneath 24 and is back under VWAP while I shorted in front of this 24 level just now. So I love Rivian. Look, I just recently got it in my long term, so I like the breakout that it did off the 50 and the 200. This is a simple case of a key 24 level breaking, failing last week's high, and then stair-stepping down with the next step being in front of 24 even. So while this is up 3%, since that opening push, it has been in a bit of a retracement play. And if we get to the high of the day, there's going to be, you're either in longs holding them, but you're up at resistance that's basically held all afternoon. So I think as a trader, you're going to be coming into some shorting opportunities when the futures are doing this. I just see Rivian stair-stepping down while Tesla and the markets are up, and I want to look to try to fade this one as it's showing some signs of weakness.
All right, I got taken out of Meta, but I just got back in because the move wasn't super high to the upside. Still a fail. We're still out of it. I just want to know if you guys saw, because I did call 50s, but then I'm just going to go back into it until we kind of break this 55, just to see. Again, just like wondering if we're just going to do this sort of back and forth here. And the futures are really close to the top. I want to see if there is a chance that we take that out at 17,065. So if that comes through, then obviously this will be through 355. So let's try to hold on to a little bit of that short. I thought Tesla could get to 280 by the end of the year. I still think it's possible. It's gonna have to have a couple more days like today, which should be in the cards, I feel like. Again, strong move, up 2%, nicely done. I almost think it's worth taking out 258. So let's see if there's any strength there. It's nicer to get again, back to the 200 period, which would be 257. So let's see some actionable events in and around that spot, and then hopefully we can get it. Look at Meta, as if, you can go to hell, Meta, come on, man. That's too bad, because we just had many more shares short and then got stopped out. We'll be net like if this breaks below 54, we'll be net positive on it, but being net positive on something doesn't really matter. We want this to get a lot lower. So here we go for Meta. It's too bad that this didn't happen 2 minutes ago, but we got back in, Meta trying to go back down. We just covered a little bit. Like, I don't know what that candle's all about. Whenever you see something like that, you should probably cover. We just punched short in front of everyone there at 40s or whatever it was, 44. So nice move back. It's a quick 40 cents on Meta, but we already lost 30 cents on the way back up. So we need to get this back right now, short Meta.
Down on crypto on the day today, Sean. We broke below 42,000 for just a little bit, coming down into 41,682 on the day. I'm talking about Bitcoin. It hasn't fared much better for the exchange names. Coinbase also down over 3%. Even the mining names getting in on the red side. Mara down 0.9 this morning. Based on the price action of Bitcoin this morning, it was touching 6-day lows, but I suspect that with this new low below 42,000, we're at even greater lows today, guys. So Coinbase trying to hold that 170 area here with a 169 low. Is there a trade on any of these crypto names?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just very quickly for one thing here, because I want to get to BTC. I'll let you talk about coin because you were actually in the stock.
Yeah.
But BTC did a stair step, kind of flushing another level to the downside, and you've essentially been stair stepping to the downside, holding that 42.8, took out 42.2, and underneath 42,000 for a little bit, and then we've just recovered 42.2. So you're at a, I don't know, inflection point. Like the support from this morning is now being challenged. So you are at a key price level, at least in the short term, on BTC. Were it to roll back over at this 42.2, which was our support level this morning, I think you could look back and maybe short some things if we can't hold on to this level. Oddly enough, someone was just pointing me towards SoFi, which has a triple top at that $10 level. I'm still waiting for SoFi to break $10, but I guess shorting it might be an idea too.
Yeah, we just covered some meta down there, now 50 cents in the money, so that's good. So we're pretty happy with that. And yeah, what's up to Zoltan and everybody, guys? I mean, this is why we're like, wow. On Coinbase, we talked about this level at the beginning of the day before we even went live. Well, the market turned on at 9:30. We're on 8:30. Check it out every single day. Yeah, we were short, man. We were short against this 178. The problem is that once we got short, I did think that it was a little too illiquid for what we had there. So we covered half for 25, not half, sorry. We covered some for 25 cents. We covered another piece there for 25 cents. And then we were like, okay, now we don't have too much left. Let's let this thing drop all the way down. And that's exactly what it did. It's still a big winner. It's still $2.50. We got out at VWAP, but a short 178, we basically have the high of the day. The high of the day on here is 179.81. That's nothing to do with that. This is the high of the day. And we were short there. So shout out to Zoltan and everybody else that's short as well. I'm glad that you guys took it, and I'm glad you had a little more confidence in this trade than I did. But I was fine, right? Because like getting out at 75 is all the rage until eventually it breaks. Once it broke 75, this is the missed trade. You don't even need to be looking at BTC. BTC's fine, man. It's at 42.2. It's not great. I mean, we can look at a chart of Bitcoin here just real quick, but Coinbase continues to make that move down here, 2-minute chart. And we'll have a quick little look at this. So, here's the move down. It's not like whoopsies, whoops, right there. So, here's sort of the drop all day here from 43, basically down, breaks through 42, so no surprise there, but then gets bought up back to 42,250 again. So we'll have to wait to see what happens with Bitcoin, but this is what it looks like basically today. Starts the day up here at 43.5, makes its way down to 41,750. Now you're trying to blast again. So I'm still okay with Bitcoin, and I still think there's some good opportunities, but there's that move down on Coinbase and, a huge missed opportunity to have held the short and get it right there again at 175. I'm okay not holding that. I'm just not okay not reloading it to the short rate there. I feel like huge missed opportunities. I sit here and a bunch of other things. I'm short of Firm, Meta, all that kind of stuff, DraftKings as well. So yeah, Coinbase, good name there for crypto. And then we traded Mara a lot last week as well. And this name looks like it's trying to take out the top here, maybe getting coiled up to break one more time on Mara. I'm interested in this at 28, so still a little bit of time to go here. But Mara, yeah, definitely ramping up, and Meta all the way back, which is good. We just took that fill at 93 there. So nice move down. We're still in 60% of Meta.
All right, guys, here's the Nio ET9 announcing their most luxurious model yet. A cool $122,000 US is going to be the starting price. Not going to be available outside of China, though. This reminds me of shades of the 760 Li or the Maybach, where there's like 2 seats in the back and there's, you know, that middle compartment that has a screen, etc. Anyway, it looks good. It looks awfully close to the Xpeng G6, so maybe a larger version. Anyway, price action for Nio, $9.35. We are at the high as we speak here. Nio is up over 11%. We retook that $9 area earlier in the morning, guys. What is the look on Nio?
So the look is what I wish I was still long, but not. It's up 11% today. Unbelievable. Are you kidding me? It was a clean $9 breakout. And I actually added, I was still in position, and I added up at 30 because 930 was a big level. Well, you'll have to go back to the daily chart. There you go. 930 here on the daily was a big level. So when it took that out, I'm like, okay, I'll add to it there with a tight stop. My actual average price, when it got that break, I took some 31s. My average price ended up being 25s. So I just got out when it broke back under 25, thinking we'd be able to get a dip into VWAP. It hasn't happened. And now you're continuing a breakout. It's only 220. We have a lot of time left in the day. It's just these Chinese ADRs, up 11%. It's hard to take a break of the high of the day on a Chinese ADR in this kind of a situation. That's why I'd rather be into some kind of a dip and holding it. So there might be time for one last dip, maybe the quarters, something along those lines. But should have found a way back into this when it was stair-stepping to the upside. We're going dip buying on Intel, but should have been doing it here on NIO as well. And this is a stock which has been doing absolutely nothing at the bottom for a very long time now. For the entire quarter, it sat between $7 and $9 while other names were going haywire, and now you're getting a breakout. So it's finally waking up. If it closes above the 200 period, which it looks like it's going to, I think that's a pretty bullish look for Nio. Next stop could easily be a test of like $10.5 to $11 when you look at this daily chart. So finally looking good. And the other thing is, you know, this was up, I think, 3 or 4% this morning when I sat down, and Li Auto was up 7. Well, guess which one of these two held on to the gains? It was Nio. Li Auto actually giving half of that back and trending to the downside. So Nio doing all of this while it's, I don't know, compatriots, I suppose, are headed in the other direction most of the day.
We had some look at, yeah, we've already talked about Rivian, Tesla, Nio now, but I mean, the other one was, addressed to us earlier was Alibaba. That one's starting to go early and then kind of just stopped. I mean, it didn't do a whole heck of a lot here at 75.50. So I feel like that's another interesting spot. I really like Alibaba, though, moving forward. I just want to get it above 80. I think if we can get above 80, then we can use the 50 period as an out, a very, very easy kind of long through there back up to the upside. I just think if you're trying to find some sort of relative strength versus weakness, and you're going to look at like, what ETF can I buy? I don't, we nailed USO, man. We nailed XLE. We nailed those energy ones, names sort of at the bottom. I don't have as much love for China as maybe we should. So I'm still looking for a 25 break, but this is FXI. This is the top 100 big cap. Actually, I don't think it's a big cap 100. It just says here it's, iShares large cap ETF. So you can go find out which names are in this, but it's the Tencent. It's all these Chinese names that are in there, Baidu, Bilibili, whatever, PDD, all of them. So you can go have a look at this, but FXI, until that recovers, I feel like it's going to be tough to get into anything else. So watch out for this breaking through 25. Again, you can take it low against 21. I just don't know. Heading into an election year, I've talked about some of the worries that I would have about China, and I think they still stay the same. So we'll wait on FXI. This is not going to be a trade for me to 2024, but if Alibaba can break, then I'm wondering about an 80 long when and if we get that.
All right, guys, we are brought to you by Trade Ideas, real-time scanning and alerting used on our desk and by many of our traders every day. See what's moving in the moment with Trade Ideas. Check out the link in the description for 25% off. Use code TraderTV25, guys.
There we go. Shout out to Andrew Ditter in the chat. Thank you for the super chat there. Scalp 50 cents twice on Mara. Hardway Dollar Club. Look, I just responded to that, but Mara, $25 stock, you get 2 points on a stock, you've done well, unless it's a penny stock. You know what I'm saying? So that's a great look. And I want to shout out to, the chat has been fantastic. On a holiday shortened week, when volumes aren't lower, you got to be in the names that are moving. And shout out to everyone that was all over, like the move in Snowflake. Like, I mean, that's one thing I didn't really notice until I think I saw a few people talking about this. Like, talk about acceleration on snow. I think C3AI had a random move here today that I didn't see any news on it. But Snowflake, just when it starts accelerating, you can join something like that when you see that green. That's the kind of trade, especially when it's breaking out the pre-market open range here. Technical break that it had been going up for $2 when it technically broke 196.5 and then gave another $2 move. Now it feels like a little bit of a short here, at least off of 198.5 or maybe the quarters. So I think a pullback seems a little bit reasonable on Snowflake, but what an absolute runner that's been. And then there was a good conversation, or at least a couple people talking about Boeing in the chat. That's going to be on the radar. It's starting to make a run. 266, last week's channel top. It's been a 60 to 266 channel. That's the channel we drew last week. But you are breaking Friday highs, today's highs, Thursday's lower high right here at 263. So I like Boeing off of this 63 level. And good point out in the chat for those that are looking at it. It's kind of, it hasn't really had a red candle on my 3-minute in the last 20 minutes or so. So the first dip that it does or consolidation, I'd be looking to join this pattern into the upside. So Aman saying you're welcome for snow. You're shorting Roku and snow. Yeah, that's when you get moves like that on no news, a lot of times you want to look for the retracement play. But you do want to also make sure that there's no news. Like the first thing I did when I saw Snowflake in AI was scan Benzinga, go on Twitter. Like, is there a reason why the stock is going parabolic? If the answer is quickly no, then yeah, I mean, fading those types of moves can make sense.
Yeah, and on that note, I just stepped into maybe a mistake, maybe not. I mean, I'm short DraftKings here, and I'm short Palantir now, and Affirm. So it's like they're all with relatively tight stops. I can talk about all of them. It's just this Palantir trade. Again, it's funny because it's not like I'm super bearish. I'm not. I'm bullish. We've already talked about that. So when I look over at my positions, I'm like, yeah, it's just too bad that they're all setting up. It's sort of topped out, and I just wonder if we're getting a little bit topped out, and if not, then the market's going to sort of punish this trade anyways. So 775, I'm not even going to wait for this 80 to break. I think that's too close to the 200 period here on the 20-minute chart. We can wait for that. We'll find out about what position we're going to have eventually, but I was trying to get out if we broke through 75, kind of like a psychological level there. But we're short Palantir at 69, or what are we short here? 68. Okay, so flat on that. It's close to 69, but I get the rounding. What does it show? 68. Okay, so that's fine. It doesn't matter. We're short it right now against that 75. We talked a little bit about that. And all of these trades have stop orders in. Look, I went short Affirm. Again, I still think Affirm gets a 3 handle on it in the new year, probably midway through January. I'm not sure when exactly the move, when I expect this decent pullback in. May not happen at all. All right, why aren't we going to Affirm? Why aren't these changing? So I just it's really sad because nothing's happening. Like a lot of these names right now are just straight barcoding, like just going in a line on sideways. We are lucky enough to have a bid right down here at the bottom of the day at 25 for Affirm. Is that even the bottom of the day actually? No, so we had the bottom of the day earlier, but the bottom of this afternoon. So we just put a bid there. And then we put another bid basically at the bottom here, just to think that maybe we'd get another 30 fill, and we did, and now it's right back to 30 again. And I do have another fill down low here. So we are starting to make a little bit of money now as this comes back in. But where is my next Affirm bid right now? So 22s. Okay, we're getting pretty close right now. I might just take some 24s if we can, and then worry about 22s later and see, again, we put a bid out and it just kind of rips against us there. So that's the problem. I'm hoping to get filled on the way down because I just put like a 24 bid and it shot up 3 cents when I could have just waited for 22s. So you got to watch out for some of these. It's not super liquid. There it goes. I mean, it comes right back in. So that's 10 cents on Affirm. Like, come on, dog. Hopefully this can get down a little bit more than that. But again, like, this is what it looks like. You know, you can't sort of get that blood from a stone. Let's see if it goes down. We are waiting for 17s to come in. And then if we're lucky enough to get anything lower, like if this market actually goes down, then 49s. And then I still think we break the low of the day or I wouldn't be in it, right? So let's wait to see if that happens. We would be really happy, though, getting out near 49 bucks. Next fill 17s, then down near 49. Roblox is still 70 cents in the money. I'm not too worried about that one. This Meta trade, I don't even really, oh, that's Google? Hold on a second. Meta, I don't even really want to get back into Meta here. Actually, we could have. I was waiting for up here at 355. I guess we came pretty close. I'm waiting at 354.80. So that came within pennies, and then we'd be reloaded, and then we'd be laughing right now because I would have got out down there. So, all right, Meta could take the top as well. Just kind of sitting here waiting to see if anything happens. I kind of just prefer the short because of where we are on the day, but I don't know. Well, whatever. I'm kind of always think that if the market's going to die, that we fade back into VWAP here. Might not be the case. It has been nowhere near VWAP.
But if you think nothing,
2 hours.
It's one of those things where, like, when you think not much is going to happen and the market's at a resistance point, it doesn't really favor going long unless something dips for you.
Yeah,
So I was mentioning SoFi at $10, but just if we come to the chart quickly, I'm in at 96. I'll show you why instead of like 99, because this was $9.99 at 10:45. Since then, it's put in a lower high at 97 and held, lower high at 97 and held, lower high at 97 and held. So I'm short here, get some at 96. If it pulls back in and fills underneath VWAP, like that's essentially 88 to 91. So it's just what are the levels telling me? And it's telling me you got a resistance spot right here. There's some size at 97. There's a bunch of sizes you can imagine at $10 even on NIO. So I like this one to the south side. As I mentioned, Boeing, that can be something to look for a dip buy. Oh, I got to get rid of this wick. Zoom back in there. I'm looking for a dip buy into the previous high of the day. At 11 o'clock, this thing got to about 263.15. So coming back into that level, I'd look for a little bit of a quick dip buy. If it consolidates up here, maybe I look for a long on Boeing up near those highs. And then it was Snowflake was the other one that we're looking at. It's coming back into the high of the day here. So Snow, I saw in the chat someone mentioning there was a director that bought shares in the company. So that can be a good catalyst. It feels like that's a weird thing if that's what moved it $3 in the middle of the day when nothing was happening. It still feels like a bit much if that's the news. But you do have a lower high where it was barcoding at 198.5. I think into that level is where I might look to put on a short into the high of the day. But if it were to break the top, that's not something which I'm going to try to add to back into like 199 or 200. I'd just be looking to short this off this high of the day here, 198.75. So it's starting to get up there, maybe another 40, 50 cents or so, and I'd look to see if I can put something on in Snowflake. But the new position was just SoFi. Rivian's right at that 24, short here at 92, so it's at 23.96 on Rivian. And keeping an eye on Tesla, up 2%. It's a chance at a breakout through 58. But as you can see, kind of going sideways. It needs to happen. Like, if this is going to be a breakout play through a key level, you need to get there. Maybe dip buys off of the even or VWAP, I suppose, if that were to be the case. I just feel as if 58's a little more likely to come in. Rock and Zip saying Eli Lilly's strong. I hope so, but when I checked it earlier today, I didn't think it was all that strong. It's still red on the day.
And the NASDAQ, I mean, the S&P just took out highs, so maybe it's starting to finally go a little bit.
You know what's strong is Square is back above VWAP.
Okay, yeah, I was looking at that. Someone said Square was 80, and I was like, what?
They had a more
down at $50.
Square was looking like it was going to break out last week's top, then pull back. But look where it holds on to. Dips right into Friday's top, and then holds the line and gets back to the upside. You know, this looks like a long. And it seems a little more probabilistic that we can get something long here than in Boeing. Yeah, I like this one off of VWAP. Square up 1%. It just reclaimed VWAP. Friday's high as well, holding. Talking myself into this long in front of VWAP. VWAP's at 77.90. It's literally at 78.10. Volume's okay, but nothing's going to blow you away with volume today. Like, you can't, if you're going to trade names, you want to make sure they're A, showing you some kind of movement, B, trading at levels that matter. You can't worry about there being high relative volume because you're not likely to see good relative volume at 2:30 today on Boxing Day. You just want something which is giving you some moves. So I'm going to add Square to the nice list. Stocks that I'd prefer to be long over short for now.
Yeah, Square acting nicely. Eli Lilly's had a great, nice year. So we'll see if that can continue in 2023. I think that's another call right there. Yeah, well, she's on Ozempic or something, that Oprah. Okay, so I mean, aren't they all? 1.3% here on IWM. So again, like this has been another thing that was lucky enough to have been talking about this when we were down near some of these lows and looking for some relative strength versus weakness, right? The small caps are really starting to get going, and look, taking out a lot of nice levels today, man, breaking above that 200 marker. So I feel bad if you missed a small cap sort of rally. I feel like I did. I mean, I'm not as many of these names as I like to be. I am in this IWM, as we've talked about that, but definitely not as much as we should be. Wow. And I said that again, like, watch the podcast. We talked a little bit. It's out right now. You can get it on Apple and Spotify and YouTube and all that. Going into some more ETFs, IWM definitely one of those. Nice little move to the upside, taking out 2 bills and still trying to go up to 210, 212. I mean, this has just been an outsized move. This is the biggest. I have to go find that stat, but there was something about on the RSI here for IWM that has its biggest move up against the S&P basically ever since 97 or something. So well overbought is the IWM. But again, why? I mean, look at these names. Like, I'm in some of these names right now. Affirm, you know, these smaller names that just continue to work. Like, we got huge move up in Affirm. Nice job, right? Cyber Monday, Boxing Week, Christmas, the deal with Amazon, the deal with Walmart. Everything working out for Affirm. It looks like they're going to continue to go up. So that's another thing. DraftKings, like, I just sitting in these stocks, it doesn't look like they want to do anything. So I might have to think about where I want to get out of this. This has really, really come back in here on DraftKings. So might just have to stop sitting and waiting for something to happen and eventually just wind up getting out of this, as it does approach some nice highs right there. 35.55, debating just making that the out and calling it a day. But wow, shout out to everybody on AMD, man. We looked at this at 140 today, and it's just taken off. Right now, taking out 52-week highs is AMD. It's up to 143. I mean, the 52-week high before this, actually, sorry, the highest is closed 143.47, so there still is room to the upside for AMD. I guess that must be that top. Yeah, 143. I'm seeing it on eSignal. 143.47 right now, the highs. So you still got 50 cents to go. If you want to fade that into that, fine by me, but that's a very, very dangerous play here on AMD. But look at this, man. Huge move up, and it's not like it's being followed. Obviously, the NASDAQ continues to sort of...
Look at NVIDIA. I was going to say...
That's what I mean. Continue to go higher. So what's the problem? They're getting long AMD in order just to buy NVIDIA at some point. Like, I feel like you can't buy one without the other, right? The whole sector is going to work. So I feel like this probably goes at some point here. I'd like to see this take out, well, how close are we? That's not that far away, man. 94s? I think a take of 94s, you might be able to rock and roll here on NVIDIA, guys.
Yeah, you kind of feel like at some point, I mean, Intel...
I'm just short everything, that's the problem.
AMD, super strong. I'm looking at, like, Micron's not all that strong either. So you are getting some winners and losers. You're just talking about NVIDIA, which I think matters. At some point, it probably catches a bit. I don't think it's necessarily a fade in AMD up there. But I've seen... It's not crazy on a day like today, but on the weekly chart, it is worth mentioning. You know, you've had, like, on the weekly, nice lower highs. And then all of a sudden, since we broke the trend, like the last sort of peak, if you were to draw a trend line back up, that probably takes you back into this November 21 top, which is like 160 or something along those lines. So it feels reasonable that AMD can get there. I don't know that I want to try to get into something in the other direction in a chip name, but if you're breaking, one of the reasons why I'm in Rivian and Apple is because they've been trending down mostly. So when I see Micron trending down as the market's at the top and some other names in the space are breaking higher, it usually makes me want to short something like this. It's just unfortunately not a VWAP. 87 even, maybe. But if we get a spike in this stock into VWAP, I'll probably visit this maybe for like power hour if it starts to follow. Because when something is this relatively weak, it can give you some opportunities. Mara is apparently almost green, someone's saying. Oh yeah, 27 on Mara is still a thing. Wow. Hey, we might get the 27 break on Mara. I mean, this is 26.70, I want to say, 75. Were we closed? And the 27 even break, more of an even dollar? I think you try to go long before that almost, the more I think about it. Yeah, like the 75 can be a play into 27 here on Mara. Super strong name, 25% short float. Super strong name on the higher time frame. I know it's down 0.5% today, but on the daily chart, it's been only rocket ship to the upside. That 75 level looks like it's a decent break. Did just get into square, which I do prefer at this point because it's a little bit stronger. I just grabbed the 03s on block. See if I can add at 78. First stop, 78.25. If it gets to the high of the day, fantastic. But got to find some things that are moving up here because the market just took out that high. I mean, AMD, as you pointed out, was strong. Square's starting to go. I already know Boeing is probably gone without us. But there's got to be something else in here. What's Microsoft doing today? I haven't checked out Softy at all. Yeah, Softy not really, come on, load, there we go. Softy not really participating. This is looking more like an Apple. Yeah. Well, I guess it's a couple of chip names here that are starting to go and some crypto names. Good thing we got some Square. If anything, Microsoft, probably like some kind of a scalp fade. Yep, it's not going to be the Mag 7 that's carrying us today, unless you're looking at Tesla.
Yeah. And Tesla's not even, I don't even think he's part of the Mag 7, to be honest with you. But yeah, you know what? Tesla needs to finally get going. So let's wait to see if it can. We're just kind of, honestly, I wish I had a little bit more to talk about. There's no more earnings into the new year, so we're not worried about that right now. We're just kind of waiting to see if some of these names want to just kind of head to the top again and possibly get blown out of the top. Palantir is one of those names right now. We're about to get more shorts.
I have a question for you. Yeah. This is random.
75s, yeah.
So in January, like a lot of times you get a year like this with the market. I mean, last year, 2022 was so bad that I think it was easy to look at the beginning of 2023 and be like, oh, like this stock looks like a good value, that kind of stock. Here you're at highs, right? So at the beginning of the year, if there is some selling that comes in, people take profit because they don't want to pay the taxes on it.
That's what we're doing now.
What is the one stock, and maybe, or there could be a couple, I have no idea. What is the one stock that you would say, I know for sure I want to buy a dip, it's just a matter of where?
I just think it's what we've been talking about before. I just think it's all these chip names. I feel, and we talked about this on the podcast, I know you've talked about it as well. I just think like you want to still buy things that are working.
Yeah.
Like I don't see anything changing heading into this new year, man. We're all going to be, ChatGPT was just introduced last November. Like we're 11 months into AI right now. Like, so I feel like that's still going to get going to the upside. I still do like Uber. I feel like that's going to be a good dip buy. I'm sort of slowing down on Tesla as being something that I want to look at.
Barry just said Nio.
We all know that Palantir is a name that I'm trying to get into as well. I mean, we're already
the level you liked, you said it was 15 on Palantir.
Yeah, but
well, I think there's
the thing is that if you're
a reason for that when you look at the chart.
Yeah. It's like if you're a long-term investor, I just feel that you want to buy names. And I said this with Obi, it's like you just want to buy high quality names. And you saw Alfred here today, shout out to Alfred, who was here around noonish if you want to rewind to that one. But yeah, I just look at this. There's going to be a certain time that comes into here where you're just like, you know what, I want to buy it. And it goes all the way back to the summer, some of these lows. So if you can sort of miss that move up and not have too much FOMO, then I think you can buy some. But you know, those are those names. No, definitely not a firm for a short. What are you thinking about? I like, Pfizer, we already just did buy some.
Yeah, so I was like, I did buy, Pfizer can't count because I think that's just catching a falling knife in Pfizer a little bit, but I like it. ARM has been one. It's in sort of an obvious one for me. It'd be easy to say NVIDIA if it drops, but I don't think, like that's almost like a bit of a cheat to say that name. I had kind of firmly believed that there was going to be a big chance for me to buy a little bit more of something like a Procter, but that's a different story. I almost, like I look at something like Caterpillar, which I know Sharif is also in. Did Sharif leave already? Usually when I say Caterpillar, like his ears.
Oh no, Sharif is, yeah. If it's a day past 2 o'clock, he in here.
Okay, I just wasn't sure because
2:30.
I know he likes this name, but this was on my short list, and then like everything else, it's like okay, well, dip. This thing got right back into the highs at 300. Now, when I was thinking about it going into December, it was at 260. I'm like, oh, I'm buying this thing at the 200 period for sure, thinking that's a price that we could see. But it's tricky to want to buy this up at the top. But I don't have for me, I don't have what would be a full position, my long term in it. I'd have what I'd consider to be like 60% of what I'd want to own in Caterpillar. But this is a name that's on my list. And sometimes you just got to grit your teeth, and if you like it, dollar cost average. My entire approach on ARM is not going to be with valuation on ARM. It's just going to be to build a position and dollar cost average into it, because I already made the mistake once with this thing, thinking that, oh yeah, valuation's too expensive. It's got to drop, and when it drops, we're going to buy it up. Well, I mean, it didn't go anywhere near where I thought it could drop to after the IPO, and then it just started breaking out. So at some point, you grit your teeth, buy high. I'm not selling higher because I'm holding this for the long term. But if this does dip, I am looking to add to ARM. I know I'll be on the bid if this thing starts to come down. Just going over to a position on just now. Square very slowly going up here. If it like I said, if it gets to the 20, the quarters, I want to get some out. It just kind of consolidate off 78. And top VoIP just said SoFi is stuck. Why are we shorting? Well, I'm shorting because it's stuck. I know that's weird.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, that's.
I know, but look at the level. Like, this is 97, and it just cannot seem to get past that level. It's got $10 in front of it. So really, like, I'm short because it's stuck. Like, this is not this is not going to do what like Coinbase did at the high of the day. Like, it's not dropping $3 here. Like, it might risk a couple of cents to make 7 or 8 at best, but like that sometimes it's just a trade. So it's got resistance at 97, so I'm just short it there. Opportunity Investments said, oh, you're being sarcastic. Okay, Bets is probably the best choice at the moment. I mean, the good thing about Bets is you can buy so much of it that it can just be, hey, look at me, it's my first million share position of my investing career. No, Bets is definitely.
It's not worth the bet.
it's definitely not.
I mean, the thing is, you can try to go, go YOLO. People like that term.
Yo, this is breaking 1 cent today.
See what I'm saying? You could be a quadrillionaire. I mean, if you just put your whole life savings.
1 cent break?
No, but not just that. It was down to 0.000. What is that low there? 0.002. Yeah. Looks like you're up 5x right now, baby. Let's go.
I traded a 1 cent, but this was not a stock that had these kind of decimals. But I remember trading a 1 cent stock when it was trading every half. Like, it was. I'm trying to remember. This is like way back in the day, and I remember getting a 1 cent break one time. But it didn't look anything like this with like 1.5 billion shares of volume. Yeah. Like, it was much more thin. Like, if you were in this stock, if you're not trading 100,000 shares. Obviously, like, there's million share lots on this. Like, I remember the stock I had, you couldn't trade a million shares even though it was a penny stock. There was no liquidity for it. But I don't know, like a 1 cent break. I've never taken a breakout like that.
Exactly.
The problem is, you know what? I'm not 100% sure of the fees on a stock this cheap. So and that ends up mattering because I think you need to at least take like half a. I don't know. You're not going to get half a cent. So what are you looking for here? You're looking for like 0.2 of a cent on a move. Because that's 0.8.
Well, I think you just play the chart. Like, what's the rate?
Like this is 0.8, and that's 1. So you're getting
0.2 is
like
a
you're
nice
getting
move.
1 cent to 0.2.
Yeah,
like,
it's a great move.
Trade. That's a great.
Hallelujah.
That's interesting. Maybe it is worth something there. I don't know what the best key to punch is.
I just took some sort of a rebate key there. It gives you try to hit the less valuable gateways. Okay, so just quickly here. I don't know, like. We just took 55 short on. I mean, this is the same position. I just took what did I get? 51s. I'm short 49s. I just took a 2 cent hit on a quarter. Sorry, 20% of the position on DraftKings. I'm getting tired. I don't know. I mean, want something to happen here. I'm not tired in general. Just like tired of waiting. Like, I'm just going to be waiting for me to get stopped out. That feels like even now. We did just even look at Meta. I mean, look at it. We just took 2 outs there. We're short. Where are we short? We're short 75s again right here on Meta. It just came in. It stopped basically at the 200 period at 60 where I took something out, which was kind of crap. And then we got another piece out like at 55 there. But here it goes, man. We're going to break through 53, 55, and then we're going to get stopped out. The NASDAQ tried to go, but now that's it because see, it's like you come back into the 50 period, you don't even look at it, and it's right back up to day's high again. There's buyers it's like dip buy. Every single dip seems to be bought up, and there's no difference right there. It doesn't want to break the 50 period. At least it did there. Now, not even close. So we are going to start to empty it out a little bit. Like nothing's like a huge, like I'm just like getting fed up. Like right now, Palantir, well, first of all, Meta will break. So that will be an L. I'm pretty sure that's going to break. Palantir's up to 70, really not doing anything. Would like to get more short into that one. This name is getting a little tricky here because I was going to get out on a break of 60 on a firm just because that was this level. I don't even know if I'm getting out of all of it, but maybe we should. We'll get out of 75% of it all, hopefully. Yeah, that's what we planned on doing. So if it just drifts up here like it's doing, then we're going to take an L on this one as well. It's a good thing some of it came back in. Where are we short exactly? 43s. So I put some bids down in the at 40 and then again at 33, just hoping for, again, some little swoosh downs like we had right there, but nothing coming in on a firm just quite yet. And then the only long that we have is Roblox. I mean, this is a long that we liked from the jump. We talked about it on the sticky note. We had 46s and we still have the exact same trade. Just never came into reload. I was still waiting down here into the mid 40, well, I guess low 46s here to get a bid, but that never came in. So we're still gonna hold it. At least we'll have one long here in case the market does make a move back up. Meta, DraftKings, Palantir. Those are really the big ones. And then we'd like to see a firm do something, but not holding my breath for AFRM.
I ended up taking it, but
I feel like AMD might be short.
The dumb thing about those penny stocks is I have to key in every order. Like I can't use my arrow keys to move around. I don't have it configured. You can on Day Trade the World. You can configure your arrow keys to change by like hundredths of a cent. I just don't have it set up. So I'm literally typing orders to get it out, which is. You don't usually do that. But Rivian got into VWAP. I added to it. Had 92 as my average price. That's 2 entries going into VWAP. It just printed 82s here. I'm going to have another bid in the low 70s. Is that starting to roll back over to the downside? Square is stalling out. Block is stalling out here. Not stalling, but slowing down. I'm just going to get on the offer at 15. It's just very slowly grinding higher, which is good, but I want to take some profit on the way to the upside. And just to show you guys on bets, like it's kind of a ridiculous stock, but like it just got up here. So it broke the ones. I keep wanting to say 10 cents, but it's 1 cent. It just broke 1 cent, and so like that's 1 and then 1/100th of a cent or whatever. So I'm not long at 1 cent. It's actually 101, whatever that is, and I'll get out like 98. I'm just gonna call it 98, and then you guys will know what I mean. So I'm long at 01 and I'm getting out at 98. My first offer is at 10.08 on bets. 94%, and oddly enough, it said done 1.6 billion. I feel like this has a chance to break that record that we were talking about, although I'll give a little bit more respect to Mullen when it did it, because Mullen wasn't exactly 1 cent when it had that day. I think it was more expensive, so the notional volume that went through on Mullen the day that it challenged the 2 billion mark was clearly more impressive than bets. You know, this stock would probably need to do like 5-10 billion in my books to be a real holder of that record. But still, it's making a run, so kudos to anyone that has it. Obviously, I don't. SoFi still kind of chilling out. I have 96 because I didn't get filled at 97. I have a bid 94, 93, 92, and then I'll probably bid 91, 90s, and 89s. Just haven't done so just yet. I'm sure AMD still going. Did NVIDIA make a move?
No. I'm sitting here.
When was the last time?
AMD just took out all time. I think it's all-time highs, right? On AMD, let me just have a quick look.
NVIDIA is literally not moving.
I know, it's definitely 52-week highs. Did we get something specifically on AMD, Adara? Because, yeah, there's all-time highs of 160, so you are getting pretty close to that. There's a lot of names that are like, just look like this, man. Meta's up here getting close to that level as well. NVIDIA's getting close to its all-time high as well. This is a weekly chart. Right now, so they're all right here right now. It's just a matter of time. NVIDIA obviously doing a little bit better than AMD on its all-time spot, but they're very, very equal and pretty close to all of that. I mean, if you were buying, this is when AMD had its all-time high right here, right? So this is well off right now with a much bigger outperformer is NVIDIA. And then Micron, I was last week talking about being EBITDA positive, so there's a nice move for them. Still a little bit of ways to go on Micron. Story was if you invested $1,000 in this name in 2007, you would now have $71,000. So 7x in about 18 years or something, so it's not bad. Not great either, but still you'll take it, obviously. 7x your account, that'd be pretty good. There goes Micron today as well, but it's AMD, man. I mean, do we stop at 144? Like, I don't know.
Anything happening?
Still going, it's AMD.
It isn't news, though.
Well, Dara's typing something now, so we'll be able to see you in a minute. But for right now, it is off to the races. Waiting sort of for like that big kind of volume burst, which we might have just had right there, 143.80. So going, yeah, she's not seeing anything, just social media mentions and just the overall hype in the space. So
Damn.
There goes AMD. I might try this short, but again, shorting like short Meta here. Affirm went. We're going to have to wait for 50 now on that one.
44 even On AMD, if you go back to last week, 143.5.
Okay, shorting it. I just
That 52-week high, as Sean mentioned, it's a matter of it setting up for that fade. I was sort of looking at like a proxy to go short if it pulls back, and I was thinking, I mean, maybe Micron, but I actually just saw NVIDIA start to break out. This looks like it's gone a little bit too far if there's no news, though. I mean, that seems crazy. And by the way, Steve G, you got me on that movie quote, so you just threw a movie quote at me. Usually I get those, but I do not know it. So you can just go ahead and tell me what that quote is, Steve G. But I kind of like this. I might jump into it. I definitely like the notion of Micron, but it's not even close to VWAP. It could just be this 87 and give it 10 cents.
Okay, so again, you know, we're trying to, remember we talked about like what we're trying to do trading. We're trying to go like with the trend. We're trying to play relatively strong stocks to the long side. Of course, so we should not be short AMD. But I'm going to play the short against just the high of the day. I just, you know, some of these exhaustion candles here, maybe on as far as candles go, I mean, as far as volume go, I don't know if these candles are going to be that. We don't really have an exhaustion wick all the way to the upside, but we do have some volume. It may be running out a little bit there. I thought a bunch of red coming through. It's our largest sell basically of the day. So we'll average into it. Obviously we have this short rate now and we're short decently at 64. So here it comes. Nice little 10-cent retracer here on AMD coming back in a little bit. Let's just put a bid at 50. I'll see if I can get out of 10%. And then if we really do fall, we'll get something else out in the 30s, kind of like back into here a little bit. So just a little retracer back, and I wouldn't be surprised if something in and around here. And again, just kind of like where we had this little bit of lull in volume where no one knew what they were going to do. That was right down here at 142.8. So there's the fill right now. Hit the sirens. My first trade on AMD looks like it will be a winner, and hopefully, knock on wood, it's a winner now. I mean, obviously we should maybe take this as it's now 20 cents in the money on a little bit of a retracement down. So, hey man, I was waiting for 30s. Let's put something in the low 40s, see if where it is, see if we're lucky enough to get that. So there it is, a quick 25-cent scalp brought to you by the same guy that gave you the loss on Affirm. So hopefully this comes back in and we'll be able to make a little bit of money. But here we go, nice little move in on, here we go. Yes, sir. There it is. Yes, sir. Let's go. Now we're getting excited. There's the trade right there on AMD. And finally got something to go. Hopefully DraftKings will follow. Palantir trying to go, and Meta nicely in the money now as well. So let's see if there is a little bit of a retracement. I'm actually out of half. So I didn't even have a chance to cut that 35 bid. But there it is, nice move. We'll wait to see if we get something. I mean, if I'm out of half on a 30-cent move, when I'm expecting the full move to maybe be like at most back into here, which would be 80s, so that would be about an 80-cent move. So I'm pretty happy being out now half 30 cents in. So that makes sense to me. Let's wait to see if we get a 143. We'll be happy with that one. Let's put a bid.
AMD flopping off the top like Christian McCaffrey when
at the 1 yard line.
Breathed on. No, did you see his flop the other? It wasn't this weekend. It was last.
Oh
week.
yeah.
It was
I forget who it was.
I forget the dude. It was like it was a defensive lineman. Basically breathed on him.
Yeah,
and it was a
so huge.
It was a LeBron-esque. It was a good flop. Now the best flopper in the NFL, bar none. There's no questions asked. You give him the Oscar right now. It's Josh Allen. And we love him for it. Thank you very much.
I mean, all quarterbacks, I feel like.
The quarterbacks know how to do it because that's what it's all about. But the market's going higher, and we're sort of pulling back here. So anyways, wait a minute. Oh, I know what just happened. Oh, come on. I just punched out flat on bets because of a dark pool. So, no, this should not have triggered. Anyways, maybe I'll just get back on the bid. Anyway, you know what? I'm not going to get back on the bid because there's no buyer at 1. Like, there's no size at the 1 level, but this just punched me out flat. So I probably miskeyed my trailing stop. I'll go ahead and double check it. I might just jump back on the bid here on that bets trade. But I did get into Micron, which has been weak as the market was pressing higher. Is pressing higher. I shorted this one off of 87 even. I got bids down at the 80 level. Maybe I don't even want to mess around with this stupid bets thing. So Rivian, okay. There was something else I wanted to get to. We got some out of Square. Oh yeah, I'm still in an Apple trade, but I haven't added to it off VWAP. I'm just going to bid the low of the day now. We're about to hit power hour, and the market is pressing higher. So if I see the low of the day at this point on Apple, I think we'll be pretty happy to grab it. We're 0.5% up. The NASDAQ is, I mean, it's not flying, but it's rising. That's the best way to think about it. We're pretty much at Wednesday's tops. last Wednesday when you had that big turnaround in the afternoon. Like, we're at those highs. So if that gets taken out, I think pay yourself out on the shorts because this market seems to want to go higher. Santa Claus rally has been here. Not necessarily led by the Mag 7, but if they start playing some catch up, you don't want to get caught not profiting on your longs in those names. So the new position was just Micron. Once it gets down underneath 90, I start taking this one out, looking for a short retracement, not to VWAP, but just 87, giving it to 87.10 here.
All right, a couple more pennies lower here, and we will get another AMD fill. And here it is, man. Finally. All right. Now we're a little more comfortable here. 143.15. We actually took 16, so nice move back in again. And when I said we don't use the 20-period moving average too much, but I took it right there. We'll wait to see if we get something else going on right now. So I do like it. We'll see if that can matter. If it does, great. But we are out right now on that name, so all is well over in AMD land. But all is not well in Meta land. Meta land needs to come back in. A little damn bit here. It just keeps on bouncing off this 60 level, and now it wants to go back up to the upside. Look at the futures just continue to go. So we've done well to get out of some of these problem spots for us, but not well enough as the market really hasn't participated to the downside. It just keeps on going up. But the fact that like my net is now significantly better than it was even 5 minutes ago, despite the market being at highs, at least I know I am short the right names. And I guess part of that is because we've made so much back here on AMD despite losing on some of these shorts. We're getting pretty fed up again with DraftKings. I mean, we have a nice out there after that, but still, you know, the problem with DraftKings is, and I'll show you the trade. Actually, I don't think I discussed this. So DraftKings negative. This is why I'm in the trade. Now let's see if it works out, okay? So we'll talk about why we're in it, then we'll see if it wants to work out. So DraftKings, again, below, started to make the move down. Really thought here that at about midday, when we started to sort of come in like this, we had just rejected VWAP. I just figured that, hey, we were heading to the low side right now. A bunch of wick bottoms, we already took this out at 35.50. So we already took those out. Now the next one to go out was that. So it did. It hit, it broke through 45s. Unfortunately, we got a price, I think it was 44s, 43s. So not that bad, but then we've had to like hold this all the way to the upside. I was gonna use this 200 period as an out, but then it just coincided sort of. We still could, this is probably gonna be an L. I mean, it's not going down, but I'm just telling you that I was gonna get out right here. We could have done that. We could get out right now again if we wanted to right here, right now, and then it would be an amazing 3-cent hit, but we're not gonna do that. And then all of a sudden it came back up and we just sort of thought, if it doesn't break through 60s, which is VWAP, then we're probably okay. So let's take out a little bit of pressure there. But I am getting nervous about this. So my stop on DraftKings is actually a take through 60s. So if we break higher, I don't even want to wait for anything here because I'm already feeling like this should maybe be my out, you know? So let's just wait on DraftKings. And that's just why I'm in it. If you guys are wondering, like, why does this guy have such a bad price? It's because we traded it through the low of the day. Not everything is, I can't wait for everything to be a pull-up. You know, sometimes you got to take those fills and play it accordingly. So that's what we did there. Amazon, if you're wondering, this is the same short that we've had all day, and it's really been printing for us. So we really like Amazon here. Nicely shorted, and then still trying to go lower. That's my best out. We don't have a 153. We're waiting for that break. But other than that, man, it's kind of like, let's just wait. Palantir's, I guess it went up to 70. That sucks because, again, I was waiting at 75, or was I waiting at 74, 75? So a couple pennies away from getting some more Palantir there as well. I feel the move is definitely up. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Slowly grinding
It's just
higher.
grinding higher and grinding higher, and it's like just waiting to get stopped out of some of these names. My stops are already pretty tight. It's just like if there is a pullback, then I know these names are going to be fine. Just doesn't look like there's a pullback coming. Shop pushing, yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of names pushing, man.
Oh, shop pushing.
Yeah.
I thought you said shot pushing. I'm like, it's shot putting.
Pushing, yeah.
Pushing higher is CIFR here. I'm just asking Adara what the story might be on CIFR. Just very quick. I'll get to SoFi, a quick little update on that one as I got some fills into VWAP. But this is a 22% short float, 58 million float name here. So it is, I mean, Cypher mining. What is that, like a Bitcoin play, or is it an actual mining company?
Oh, probably a Bitcoin play.
Yeah, my guess is it's like my first gut shot is 22% short float up 24%, that it's got to be a crypto play. But I don't know them, so I didn't want to make that assumption. But it's probably a crypto play. Look at the level on the daily chart here. So anyone trading this thing, it just went parabolic, and 530 is a big top there in July. So as it climbs higher, suffice to say, I wouldn't be buying that top. I don't know if I want to fade it up here. Like I got enough things that I'm working. We got enough positions on. Micron could take out the top. You just said the market wants to go higher. SoFi got to VWAP, so 96. There's your seller at 97. It just got down printed some 94s and 93s. I'm on the bid at 92 as well, but that's just a pure scalp play. When you see a seller at 97, then jumping in front of it. If I could have got the midpoint at 96.5, I would have taken the midpoint too for that short. But Micron, that's the one I got to be worried about here. Looks like it was consolidating. I like the chance if the market didn't break the highs, this could get back down to the 80s. But if this takes out at 87.10, I'm not holding this to VWAP. I'm just getting out if it breaks a 10. Just take the money and run. And then Apple here, my gut's telling me to get out of this one too. So when your gut is telling you,
right,
it's like just do it. So I'm just getting out of Apple. I would have taken it if it had gotten back underneath 193, but I'm just gonna get out of this. I mean, these shorts, I have a stop on Micron, but Apple, I didn't really have one, and I'm not holding it all the way back to 193.30. So that's not gonna happen at all. Top VoIP, last week you mentioned shorting Zoom at 73 on that downgrade. What do you think about it here? Remember when we talk about day trades, I haven't even looked at Zoom today, but you're always talking about a specific setup on that day. Right, so usually, like you'll see a key price level. I mean, 73 was actually a good level today. So and again, I was basically talking about on the daily chart. Look at 73 and look at 74 on Zoom. It's not rocket science. It's basically had resistance off the 73 level the entire time. And so you see on Friday, it would get up to the 73 and then just stall pretty much the entire week. Now sometimes you get 70 cents. Other times off that level, like early in the week, or maybe that was 2 weeks ago, you were able to get $1, $2 moves, but it was at least giving you 50, 60, 70 cents off that level. At these levels, it's now breaking out that top. Generally speaking, I mean, I like longs when resistance turns into support and vice versa. I wish I'd looked at this today because that same 73 level, it broke out and consolidated above and then took the stairs higher. You could have been long at the quarter mark back to that same 73. And the short would have worked earlier too, but no, I don't necessarily see a short unless it's at 75. If anything, this looks like it's stair-stepping into that 75 level. Damn, that would have been a good trade. And the good thing about it is, I guarantee you, if I had seen it, I probably would have gone short 73 and then lost on the short. But if you reversed, you couldn't have helped but won. No matter how much you lost shorting this name, it couldn't have been more than 20, 25 cents. And the long, as it broke this consolidation, has been free money. So sometimes you've got to sort of grit your teeth and just go the other direction. As said, we probably were going to get stopped out of Micron. There's 87.10. There's our short. There's our out. I guess we're holding on to the longs. At least SoFi's gently working to the downside. I'm out of the Apple short. Rivian, I don't want this to necessarily bounce on me. So maybe I'll get some more out here in the 80s on Rivian, short into VWAP. Relative weakness, but as the market continues to go higher, now 0.6 to the upside. Like, does it feel like a rip your face off rally today? No. But the average move was, you said 2.7% in a Santa Claus rally. If you get 0.6, which is what we're at today, if you get that every single day during the Santa Claus rally time, you actually beat the average. So if we got this move every single day going into the first 2 days of next week, of the new year, then you would beat the average for the Santa Claus rally. So it can be a little bit of this. I just wish I had something else to the long side that wasn't just Square and Intel. Intel, which I've had for a while. And then Square was the new one at 78. And to be honest, I was going to go into Boeing, and then someone put Square into the chat. And I was like, oh, this is pretty strong. It looks better. Boeing's probably okay, but Square's moved 30 cents on a $78 stock. And Boeing has moved, what's that, 40 cents on a $200 stock. So yes, Boeing is up, and if I'd gotten the dip buy, it would have worked. But Square has been the better trade. It is running to the high side. I guarantee you. Oh, come on.
That's just killing it right now.
No.
1 cent and just ripping right now. We actually talked about this as there goes bets now up.
Why didn't I just punch back into it?
We talked about that, man. Not when you screw it up, but when you miss a trade or something happens or keystroke error or a bad wick. I mean, it happens all the time to us. So.
And you know what the funny thing was?
Frustrating.
I talked myself out of it because at the time I wanted to jump back on the bid at 1 cent. There was 1 million shares on the offer at the next 100th of a cent or 10th of a cent. But really, 1 million shares on this doesn't mean anything.
Correct.
So it's like, it's in your head. Like I see the size and I'm like, oh, oh, I'm not going to get back long. It's 1 million shares on the offer. But it's a 1 cent stock. It's like, who cares? 1 million, like 10 million shares on the offer, 20 million, like that actually matters. But bets, congratulations. You are winning today.
You win that bet.
Today and today only, you're winning on the stock if you're long. I don't think it's...
and you might not even be winning. I mean, where are you long? Unless you're, I guess if you go long at the bottom. It's at the high today, but I mean like, try to hold.
But the one break worked. You got the one. Yeah, you got the 1.2. You just got to be willing to hold it.
Yup.
That's a...
All right. What a bet that I'm losing right now is DraftKings. I mean, that's another bet name, and it's going to the downside. AMD as well. We realized that there was getting some strength coming through. Like I said, we're out of 75%. We only have a quarter left of AMD, so this is okay to hold. So let's just wait to see what happens. I did just put another bid at 28 or so, I believe. Just want to give you guys, yes, I did. So just seeing that it was holding this like 22, 23 area, and just was like, got tired of it, went over, pushed bid, see if we can get it. I feel like today, what's up to Paulie D today? He's like, today is like pissing in the wind. I kind of feel like that is the case. There's not.
That's a little harsh.
Well, it's like comes right back at you. Like no matter what you're trying to do here today, it's like, is the market actually going to go one way or just keep on like trending with it, right? If you're trying to go against something, it's going to be a little bit of a harder flow, but we'll see. There's AMD, so that's good. AMD again, put that right into our pipe and smoke that one on the downside. We'll wait to see if the rest can come through. I mean, I'm only out. It's like I'm sitting here complaining, but like I'm out of the money 10 cents on a firm with a very, very manageable position. A lot of these sizes, I guess that's what she said. A lot of these sizes aren't huge here, but the point is that it's pretty lame. This is what happens when it gets.
What?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm good with that one.
Yeah, it's fine. But it's just like, until something happens. 354.75. We're just now in the money, an amazing 7 cents on Meta. So let's just like, honestly, we've been holding on to this. Let's just wait to see where we go. I don't. DraftKings, Palantir, they're all just setting up for the. I just feel like, look, let's make this as simple as possible. I think that there's more risk right now to starting new positions at these long levels than right here at short. But as I sit here, my net is getting worse. It's not like these shorts are actually printing. Like Meta could have gone down there. Like, you know where I was bidding, man? 72s. Right here, right at the 50-period moving average, which is now 75. But that's where I was bidding, and I couldn't even get that fill. Like it went down to 75 and stopped. Like Meta normally moves, 40, 50 cents up and down, So right now you can see the drift. It's a slow drift and a slow, painful one. We've been getting out. It's not like this is the only one where we got stopped out and right back in, but it's been fine. Like there's some ins, there's outs, there's another out, there's another in. We could take another out right now, which is what we're trying to do. But we're trying to lose a little bit of money and make a little bit of money. At the end of the day, hopefully come out greater than flat. I mean, that's really it right now, and just on these positions, right? Trying to make it happen. That's Meta. Palantir, like honestly, trying to do that. You could look at energy section as Oxy. What a great bid that was at 58 again, and we talked about that on the Market Recap Show. Join me tonight when it'll be Brian Shannon back on. I mean, look at this. We talked about this live, right? It was a part of our watch list that Warren Buffett in Berkshire came in and bought, or holds now 27%, and recently bought some down here, 56, 57, 58. Man, you're back up to $62. This guy could probably empty out his position and make money right now. It's a nice move, right back above here. Obviously, he'd like to get stuck out up here, 66, but we'll see what does happen right now with Occidental and the move on that name. So, some energy plays well in. Randy's on holiday now, but he was liking XOM sub $100. That's 4 or 5% up from its 98. I think it was 98 bottom. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, right there, 98 bottom. So that's looking good. And obviously names like Chevron, so on and so forth, continue to go. So did it, Chevron? Okay. How am I making money now? Because I feel like a firm is obviously at the highs.
Market pull back off the high.
Yeah, but not enough. Okay, it's just Meta that's just doing. I'm not actually making money. Just my net is like, my net's going down, but like a firm's going up. So they're kind of counteracting. Man, this is boring. I don't know.
I'm still looking. I'm actually mad at myself over the bets thing, because oddly enough, that turned out to be, you're not seeing that much movement, but percentage-wise, that was probably the best opportunity this afternoon. Mm-hmm. And the reason I say it's a mistake is, in the keystroke error, is because I was unfamiliar with trading a stock that with those decimal places. I just haven't done it in a few years. being a 1 cent stock, but this is a 3-minute chart, and it was right at that same price for another 2 bars. So I had like 5 minutes, let's call it 5 minutes to get back in at essentially the same price that I was in before, and then it gave you the 20% move. So that's a fail 10 times out of 10. It cuts both ways, man. You get in a position you don't mean to. The idea is to get back out. You get out of a position accidentally when you didn't mean to, just jump right back in. The only cost is your cost of execution. Now, if you're under PDT, obviously it's a different consideration. As a day trader on a prop floor, that would have cost me nothing to get back in. Essentially nothing. It would be small fees, like pennies, to get back in. You're going to pay a small fee to remove liquidity. In this case, I probably could have added liquidity. You're not going to get a rebate because it's a penny stock, but it still wouldn't have been that bad. Just going back over to things that are trying to go, I don't need SoFi bouncing off the open. I'm trying to get another fill, but if I only get 3 cents, I'm essentially risking 1.5 here because I think there might be slippage at 97. So I'm going to get on the bid again just to see if we can't get more out. I'm a little bit interested in Square at the high of the day. I'm getting out in front of the high of the day. I don't think this is breaking the top. It doesn't feel like that kind of it. 315, you're about 20 cents from the high of the day here on Square. So if it punches through 50, trailing stops going in. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to sit on the offer in front of 60s as Square is starting to go. So shout out to everybody that's, if you found some longs in there, great. If you found some trading opportunities, good on you. Apparently, Fat Figa in our chat, who is a regular, has been long bets or been trading bets. I mean, hopefully you haven't been long that stock for a long time, but if you've been trading it, fantastic. I didn't do this. We always zoom out first before trading a stock. When getting into Square, okay, it's pouncing off VWAP right now, but it is worth mentioning this $80 level on Square, 80 into about 81, is a big, big level coming back from the middle of the year here in July. Like this got cut almost exactly in half. I would expect there to be some kind of consolidation or fade or something at this high again. It's been up at 80 before. It was there last week, but a little double top here on the daily chart as well for Square. What an impressive rally this has had. And you juxtapose that with like a PayPal. Like I know Square gets the whole crypto bounce. I guess that's a lot of the reason why you get so much of a better move here. Not that PayPal hasn't made a move, but like PayPal, since its bottom, is up 25%. Square is essentially doubled off the bottom. This is a name. 200 period sits at $64. Recent resistance at 64.25. This closes above 64, maybe like a 65 breakout. That's got $10 to run. Throw a stop at like 60 or 62. This looks pretty, PayPal looks pretty interesting. I don't know if that'll be something for next year, but the 200 period moving average is an indicator I like on the daily. When a stock gets above it, that's when I like to be long. And when it's beneath it, I am generally either buying a bottom like on Pfizer, or I don't really short things in my long term, so I guess I'm doing nothing when it's beneath the 200 period moving average. It has to be at a super key price. Pfizer went to the pandemic bottom. That's the reason I bought it. Like if it ain't a long there, it ain't a long ever.
For sure.
Which is possible.
Okay, Pfizer, yeah. Well, it could be along at some point. Who knows about ever, but what is not going to be along forever, but is right now, is a FOOM. Yeah, so we're basically just been bleeding our net out on this name as it just keeps on going to the upside. You know, maybe we just should have stopped when we realized the most we could get down here was like 20 cents, you know. Unfortunately, right now, it's at that $50 mark. And if you could try it if you like it, right now, that is AFR to the M. Not really doing too much for your boy now, except for going to stop me out, that's for sure, on a break a little bit higher than $50. And here it goes. Oh, no, a couple more pennies and we're stopped out. Is there any significant size? Nah. So I don't get out as soon as we break 50, but if you said like maybe 50.03, maybe you're right, maybe 02, maybe you're right, something like that, we are getting very, very close to getting stopped out on that name. So that sucks. But you know, one thing sucks, something sometimes is better somewhere else. And again, this is not why I'm holding multiple names and all that kind of stuff. I thought they all equally set up. It's just that the short's not setting up. So when the short doesn't set up, then you got to sit here and wait for your trades to actually develop. And this has been a really, really slow grind here for DraftKings, and at least it just hit 49s. But look what happens when it did that. It got right back up again. So I was actually waiting at 46. This is just so stupid. Like, we're short here at, where are we short? 49s. All right, what else do you guys want to talk about? Why is the U.S. market positive? Because if you're going to put your money in any sort of capital markets, you're going to put it in the U.S. I feel like it's a flight to safety again. You notice that gold's up at all-time highs as well. It kind of makes sense. That's that.
Put my money in rubber bands and mattresses.
Yeah, that would be a good idea too. At least under the mattress for now. All right, Google not doing anything. Yeah, I'm trying to see Coin. Okay, that's a good name. Let's go back over and look at Coin.
Oh, yeah, Morrow.
Coin, we had a monster move on earlier, and we actually caught it up there to 170. Oh, there it is. So there goes a firm. We'll slap the fail on that. Ah, well. That sucks. But there it is, Coinbase. Nicely moved to the downside there. We'll take about 25-cent hit or whatever that was on a firm. It just broke through 50. Maybe it's a long through 50 now. Coinbase, what's Bitcoin? Still 42,150. I don't know. Everything to me has to go back to VWAP. Honestly, I'm just so like exhausted waiting for something to happen. I mean, our whole day can come all the way back with Meta if it actually goes down. I mean, right now we do have, so it's just kind of like what we were hoping would happen on a firm never happened, and it looks like it might want to happen on Meta. I'm almost tempted to get back in, here, I'll show you a firm. I'm almost tempted to get back into it, but.
You got the Cannabis
It's
key?
just all the way straight up. I don't know why, I have the Cannabis key, but I don't know, why is it up today?
Why is
CGC is up huge, right?
MSOS is up 12% today.
Yeah, CGC up 14% today.
What?
Must be someone must be talking about it.
Yeah, this is MSOS is just the ETF.
Yeah.
But I just saw it in the chat. Shout out to FK80. There you go. TT. MSOS, please, was the question. Yeah, it's absolutely flying. I don't know specifically what the news is, but as Sean mentioned, they do have a couple of cannabis names that are on the move to the upside. I just see a big resistance level on the daily in about 30 cents. And at this time of day, like, I know people hate it. They're like, oh, why do you always look to short tops? Because as a trader, when a stock is doing this, like I'm not seeing anything I would want. It's at 320. When you're day trading, and we are day trading here at Day Trade the World, by the way. Like, it's 40 minutes till the close, 30 minutes till the imbalances come out. Holiday short and weak, man. Like, I'm not looking to buy something like this up 13% at the high. I'd much rather try to scalp a short. Like, it's consolidating at 30. That top on the daily chart sits at about like 770. Like, if it makes the push into 770, I'd much rather try to find a 10-cent risk short that can pull back 25 to 30 cents. Like, I'd rather do that if it makes that move. So I do want to know exactly what is going on there. I just got out of block, and I'm going to show you what just happened on this thing. Like, this little hammer candle happened. I was going to look for it to break 50s, and then it hammered down like 15 cents on a big sell order. I'm like, I'll just sell in front of that top. So we get 78 into 78.40, taking half out halfway and then half out the second half creatively enough. So shout out to Block for continuing to run. You're getting the cannabis names moving. You're getting a decent run in some of the crypto names. I believe that's some of the sympathy that, as usual, Square is going to get. AMD is continuously pushing higher. Just want to remind everybody on AMD, like, this is what can happen when you break a downward channel. Like, a stock is in a long-term uptrend. Obviously, everything is. But then it goes into this downward channel. A lot of the time, while you had NVIDIA, say, holding basically the top end of its range. So AMD was lagging in that regard. Some of it because its forward PE is actually double, or it's higher than NVIDIA's. I don't know if it's double anymore. It's still higher significantly than NVIDIA's forward PE. So it's seen, some people think it's expensive, but the turn has definitely happened, and the market's saying, hey man, they're going to get back to some recent valuations. The growth is going to be there. So it broke that channel up, consolidated higher, and then made the next break up. One of the reasons I like Tesla has been because of the same kind of channel has been breaking. Like, it's held above the previous channel, and it's just trying to break out. It just can't seem to break 60. But when this thing breaks 60, maybe it doesn't happen this year. Maybe we're talking about this next year, and it breaks at 60. I think it's got some room to run. SoFi was another example of a channel like this where I like the long off of 8, and it's gone to $10. There's one other stock. Oh yeah, Rivian was the other stock that I liked, and I already owned AMD, I already owned Tesla, but I took positions on SoFi and Rivian, candidly speaking, based on this. Where like you're breaking channels. I didn't have the channel drawn on Rivian, but it holds a 50 and the 200 here and is now breaking higher. I understand I'm shorting it as a day trade right now, but I do like the long in general on this stock. As the market is now 17-1. What a grind. It is a wild grind up on this market. And we're through Wednesday's highs on the NASDAQ. On the ES, we're at Wednesday's top. So check that. We're like, I don't know, like 1 point or 1 point away, I guess. A handle away from Wednesday's high on the ES, but the NASDAQ is already there. So if we can punch through that, all systems go. I only have Intel after getting out of square just now. And Intel, it's right at the high and doing nothing. There's not much to do with this trade. I was buying dips. Every dip since it broke 50, this one into 50.10, this one into 50.10, this one into 50.19 or 20s. I got 19s, and it's just sort of sitting here doing nothing at the high of the day. At some point, going to have to get out of this trade. But wow, AMD super strong. Why can't Intel be doing this?
Oh, AMD's back up. Okay, good.
It's wild.
All right, good. So we did get that fill at 28 when we were pretty nervous there. So that was good. Now we have such a small position. We only had a quarter at that point. Now we have 15% left. So let's just continue the short. I don't know if we should or not, to be honest with you. Like, I mean, if you're just going to look at some of the positions that we've had on, Roblox not moving for the long side, Palantir not moving, Meta, like, again, you know, like is this really the day? Like, it's just like, you're just going to get, whenever it drops, if you're sitting there, great, you get it. If you're not, you're not. Like, kind of boring right now on that front. So I want to look at other names. I keep asking if there's any other names in the chat. We could definitely look at that one. Disney, Google, I think we'll look at Disney. I know that's a pretty new name, but Google, I guess it's really trying to buy off the bottoms as well here today. Finally going green on the day, as it was really green early. Nice fade back into 141. What's up, Adara?
Yeah, I have this story here with regards to MSOS and the cannabis stocks. This was published earlier today, tweeted out about an hour ago. Oral THC dosing associated with cognitive improvements for advanced cancer patients. This was in a study with clinical data being published in the Palliative Medicine reports. Guys, if I see anything else, I'll let you know. But I did see this story published earlier today.
All right, all right.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly good news. It's a wild move up for that. Okay, well, we just had the ES just broke the high and started accelerating. Oh, there goes. Apple just went through resistance. It was a good out to get out of Apple. I wish I could have just gone long, but ifs and buts were candy and nuts, then, you know, I like both of those things, so we just have more of them. But it's now at the resistance where I was shorting the stock. I suppose if it were to hold above, maybe there's a long into, does it have time to get to 194? I'm not sure it has time to get to 194, but it certainly has a chance to go at least a little bit higher. At 3:30, we're going to get an early look on the imbalances. I can tell you, just sort of from experience, sometimes imbalances are going to matter. This is the kind of day and for the rest of this week, except for maybe the last day of the year, where I don't expect to see a heck of a lot on the imbalances. Early look numbers, XOM's a sell for $1 million. Early, and Disney 700,000, but nothing really stands out. Uber 500,000 to buy. These aren't really big, and I don't expect to see anything gigantic when 330 hits, nor when 350 hits, to be honest with you. Volume's relatively low, and with the market extended like this, I wouldn't be surprised if there weren't some profit takers at the close throwing it into the auction, throwing sell orders into the auction to pair off some of those gains. Man, that was a good reverse on Apple. I'd never reason to go long off 93. But this has been pretty strong. Just to check back in out of morbid curiosity on bets, it pulls right back to 1 cent and is bouncing again. So 1 cent to 1.1, it's actually been pretty good. Maybe this is, if it does 2 billion shares again tomorrow, there might actually be some trades on this stock. It's definitely doing enough volume, and you can get like these little 10%, 20% moves. It's just like any other penny stock. It's just usually used to trading stocks that are 50 cents and 60 cents or 20 or 30 cents, not 1 cent. But it's the same principle. And you can trade this, to be sure, if you're a day trader. Well, for a lot of you retail traders, I'm assuming this is probably just like a no-fly zone, though.
I believe, yeah, if you don't have, I mean, the good thing about it is you can have like very small capital and be able to make a big move today. Okay, so I mean, Nio is basically at the high of the day again, unless it was up there earlier. No, so we're taking out highs up to 950. This could be one of those names that you sort of put in there if you believe in it. There's a couple new products they released there today, and a nice little bump up for Nio, up 12%. I'm tired of shorting. Someone just wanted me to look at it. I'm not going to short this, and I wouldn't go long either until you pull back a little bit. I just feel like this move is pretty overextended again, but like I said, man, stay bullish. I mean, there's the NASDAQ. See you later. You took everything out. You're higher now than you've ever been on the NASDAQ. Uncharted territory one more time. So we'll wait to see where we go from here. The ES also right now taking it out, right? So here's the ES on a weekly chart. Let's just go over here. ES, $F. Again, huge move up. We'll see this. There it is. The ES, never before seen levels now. So there it is. We just took out the July, or sorry, not the July. The July is the NASDAQ, of course. There it is. Yeah, 2022, right there, right before we went on a huge dip down. Look at that on the weekly chart. Wow. Come back into 3,600 and nailed it on the 200 period on the weekly. Man, that's wow.
Old baby.
That was great. $2 cost average, obviously, into a name like that. And here's, of course, what the ES looks like on a daily. And then the NASDAQ, the same thing. This is why I'm saying, like, you know, we're in uncharted territory right now as there goes the NASDAQ. We already broke that, though, before, just a couple of days ago. We can go over here on the weekly for the NQ. So this is the level that we were talking about, breaking again a year ago. So huge moves, man, huge moves. There's been a couple beat down names, obviously, that continue to go the other way, and I just tweeted it out. We'll talk about it here tonight. I'll give my opinion, but there are some beat up names that are at 52-week lows. I mean, this is as of a couple days ago, but check this out here. Yeah, it's all these names. It's Exxon, J&J, Procter.
That was one I was mentioning because it was at the bottom.
Yeah, SBUX, of course, Starbucks, and then there's Alibaba, Pepsi. Interesting symbol. Mo,
I hate the new symbol.
Philip Morris, Hershey's, of course, and Kroger. So, you know, very, very mixed up, not mixed up names, but when you're going to, you know, some industrial, some sort of dividend payers.
I was saying, leave that up so I can hit the Pepsi logo.
I don't know.
I think it's
because they're just into so many different things. I guess they're worldwide. Out of all of these names, I mean, I think that, you know, Exxon's probably the safest because I don't think oil's going anywhere. All these other names, you know, have a lot of risk associated with them, I feel like, especially that GLP-1, although I do like Pepsi. I think that a lot of that's overblown. You know, Johnson & Johnson, that Kenvue is really low right now. So I think that's definitely affecting them a little bit. Procter, good staple name.
That's more cyclical risk. I think J&J, you've got different risk, but cyclical risk in Procter. If I didn't own Chevron, I'd say Exxon there, but those are the only two names I like on that list. And I do like Pepsi. I'm hitting the fail on that stupid logo.
Pepsi,
But you know what feels like there was a question in the chat about looking at Moderna. Recently bought Pfizer, and Moderna might have been better to have bought at the bottom. Crazy it is to say. Above the 50 period, it's on the hunt. It's just filled in the gap from its flat bottom break at 95 here, and it's now just like the market, it is very slowly breaking out off the 26 level. Just got to 27. Like, look at this 15. This is a 15-minute chart where you've been breaking out from 96 quarter to 97 for the last hour and a half. And the Moderna is not a stock that moves a dollar. It doesn't usually take a while to move a dollar when it's going, but it's slowly moving higher. It looks good. They just got some good news. I think it was like last week with regards to one of their treatments in cancer. So it's got some positive catalysts, obviously beaten up because of the pullback in all of the COVID names. Pfizer, one of those as well. It is running into what I think can be short-term resistance, but if this gets above the 200 period moving average, like, it's got a lot of room. Moderna, I mean, I'm not telling anything you don't know, but this is a stock which it had an unbelievable, there we go, I was waiting for it to pull back and show you guys the 500 top that we had from COVID. Like, the 500 top, I feel like that wasn't the it in the exuberance of the market. The lower high, like when Moderna went from 500 to 350 and then got back to 460 and double topped, like that was kind of the moment near the end of 2021 where you're like, yeah, this is probably, yeah, the market's coming back in here, because it's like, how did the stock like this even get back to 460 when it had fallen $150? And when you saw it make that double bottom, like it just double top, it just faded. So there's a lot of room for this to go if it breaks and holds above that 110. And when we talk about things that have moved a lot, you got to put it into perspective where these gains are coming from. Like to say that, oh, this could be interesting if it closes above the 200 period moving average and consolidates higher. I'd be like, I'm more than willing sometimes to buy stocks when they go 10, 15% higher from where they are and give me an entry point into a long. You don't always have to buy the bottom. Speaking of things off the bottom, SoFi went from 97, I got the 96 fill, down to VWAP, which was 92.5 was the best fill, and now it's right back to 97, which I'm just going to punch out. I'm not even going to worry about a stop order. I'm just going to hit the 97 if it goes. I'd rather not risk the extra cent that you lose if you hold it through that resistance point. So it's the second last position to the short side that I have. Rivian, I'm holding. I'm just going to put a trailing stop right in here at 23.86, like this local high. The short end of VWAP's been pretty good on Rivian. It's the only thing which is kind of worked short clean here. And notice it's under VWAP. Well, I mean, Apple was until it wasn't. But most things are breaking back out. Rivian not. Up 2.5%, but it's still putting in lower highs when you zoom it out for the entire day.
I like that Rivian. I think Rivian can definitely work. Yo, Michael Lloyd, rocket, rocket, rocket. I like that one.
All
It's 333 right now. As we just have a couple more minutes to go until we get those imbalances at 350. And then, Adair just put it up, 534 million to sell. So a little bit of a sell side imbalance. We did have an opportunity before actually to take out profit here on AMD when we reloaded this short, but we are still in this one. It is a sell imbalance, not that I'm expecting that to do anything, but if this can come back into 40s, I think that's pretty good. That's about the best we got before. I mean, we did get 15s, or yeah, 15s down there, and we did get 20s, but I feel like right now, anything in and around 40 would be pretty sweet. So we will look to see about that one coming through again. All right, I've changed up the game plan on some of these names. So like Palantir, we just get filled there short 73. If we break 75, we're going to get out of this. Just nothing, just keeps on drifting higher. Great job on Palantir, man, up 1.8%. Definitely like that name. Maybe we get a dip back into 15 and we could buy some more for the long term.
Okay,
but until then, not much happening on that one. DraftKings, same type of thing, man. We break above 60, we're gone. We just got a 57 or 56 there, so hopefully it comes back in. We'll take a little bit more out on the bottom of that. There's Palantir. DraftKings, we just talked about it. Amazon's not doing anything. AMD, we just talked about it. Relatively new position here on Uber. Tried to go, well, we were short early. It was fine. We talked about that, getting out a little bit there before it started breaking up. But we got out around 62, but now it's kind of just doing the same thing in and around here. So I kind of want to just give this to 62 break. If it breaks it, fine. But right now we're short on Uber at 96. So if we can get some fills down here, I think that's pretty good, man. 86. So let's put some of those bids and see if we can get it, and then might just get out. This is a good one here. It's Roblox. It's been really good to the upside. I feel like if we fade back in a little bit and some of these shorts actually start to print, we might as well get out of Roblox. So let's use this 20 period here. 46.65 or so, getting out of that. Where's my stop? Actually, I don't even have a stop on Roblox because we're pretty light on it. So again, getting long early, getting out was a good opportunity. We should have probably got short at 47, but we've actually looked at Roblox. It's 48. Right here, that is up here. That is the next level for, so 47.50, $48 for Roblox. So that's going to come into play hopefully as soon as tomorrow, as we're long Roblox, and I actually like the name. So 46.65 break, and we're going to get out of this one. Let's see if the rest of these names want to fill out a little bit here into the close on a $500 million sell imbalance.
Yeah, it's not gigantic, but there's some logic to it. 0.7 on the market. I knew there was something I wanted to get to. I want to comment about C3AI, but I just punched out of SoFi. So I said I would not let it break the 97 level on SoFi and just get out and not pay the extra spread. So what ended up happening is the level was going, meaning like ordered buyers are buying off the 97. It looked like it was about to break, so I punched out, and then it kind of like reloaded. So it doesn't break 97. It happens sometimes. Like you look, it's about to break the level. Like sometimes you do that, it breaks the level, and you're like, well, look at a great out. I just saved myself like 3 cents or something like that. In this particular case, punch the top. It never breaks the 97 and pulls back in. I will be not guaranteed trading SoFi tomorrow, but if it's right back here at $10, I think there's going to be a trade in SoFi. Let's be real. It's been a good one. Holding on to some intel, but I wanted to
be real.
I mean, $10 on a stock like that.
Yeah,
like
I love that
it's
level.
It's a tradable level.
Yep.
But I wanted to mention C3AI because there was a point that we're talking about before we came back on. At about noon-ish, C3AI did this on not much of anything. Like it broke technically at 29.2 and then on volume ran $1.50 on no news. Now, by the time, I didn't notice it until, like I just sat back down. I just gone to Subway to grab obviously grab a lunch. And then I sat back down and this was pulling back in and it was already retracing $1 at that moment. So I went in for the cheeky little dip buy, risking about 20 cents on it to look for it to bounce higher. It didn't. But if you ever see a move as parabolic as this, without any news catalyst to it, and just to show you on the daily chart, like and the 15-minute chart, like what this did, like it broke Friday's top, got right into Thursday's resistance levels. Like look at how big of a level this 31 was, breaking it out, then resisting it. It kind of stalls in front of 31. That's the kind of retrace and play. Now, if there's a news story, fair enough, but the second you know there isn't, that's not risk to reward. You're just sort of favored looking for that fade play because it's just like a mini squeeze that happens on a stock, and typically speaking, when it unwinds, the bids just drop and it finds an equilibrium. But if you manage to short the top, or at least put a short in, like you could have been 30-50 short with a 15-cent stop on C3AI. There ended up being no news story. The first thing I would do, and you had about a couple of minutes when it was breaking out to do that, was just check and scan to see if there's anything big enough that could make the move. I still hold this Intel, but again, it's just slowly grinding higher. It's just hanging out here at the 40 level. If it gets back to 35, I'm trailing out. Otherwise, let's see if it can break higher. I seriously doubt that's going to happen on the sell imbalance. With only 10 minutes to go until we actually get the imbalances, Nio popped up here. Neo's been up on the day, but really anything that was over 1 million is from either earlier in the day or has now paired off on the early look imbalances. So I'm not expecting any fireworks. Intel sometimes does come out as an imbalance that'll pair off. So I always want to have a tight trailing stop in as it's getting to our prices. And Mara, Andrew Ditter just said, is moving. That's not bad.
Mara's always moving somewhere.
No 27 break today. Maybe tomorrow. Oh, gosh. Maybe we get a 27 break and it takes out Friday's high tomorrow on Mara. Like it's every time it does a consolidation day, like usually there's been a run after it. So you had a consolidation day today. Is the breakout coming again tomorrow on Mara? Maybe.
Maybe. We're, yeah, I mean, Mara seems to be breaking out almost all the time here. Nice little move back up as Bitcoin 42.2 again. So if it does any sort of dramatic move, I do have it up here. I don't know. I mean, we actually just got a 52 and a 51 fill on DraftKings. Like, those are just flat fills, literally. Like, so hopefully it comes down. We're still waiting for that. I just want to talk to you guys about it because we did take the fill. And then we got, I think we got 2 fills down here. Yeah, two times out there at 69, just on 2 different gateways. So I just fell back in, and again, I was profitable on Palantir. Just want to give it to you because we're trying to sort of get out of everything, but we're only out of like 10, 15, 20% of each of those as we wait for more and more to come through. We did have an opportunity again to take out some more, and we took out 2 bids again downside, one at 55 and one at 50 down here for AMD. As I said, we were going to wait for 40s, but you could see now we're starting to slope down. Maybe the 50 period will turn for us, and then that will create hopefully some action to the downside, and we'll run back into this at 51 or 52. So
you're not gonna believe this.
What happened now?
Okay, first off, so Bets is making a high of the day run here. So BTS, Bets, the name of the company is Bit Brother Limited. So like, what's your first thought? It's going a little bit parabolic. It's a penny stock. Like, I'm thinking it's some kind of a crypto related.
I thought this was a gambling stock because it's bets, but I don't know.
So like crypto or gambling, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't even thought crypto,
Dude,
but what is it?
This can't be right. So it's a Chinese company. It says financial services sector.
Yeah.
But the description still reads, engages in the retail distribution of specialty tea products in China.
I mean, there's a reason why it's...
If this company is another one of those, hey, we used to sell some beverages, but we're going to yada crypto and financial services on you, and then see if we can't moon?
You don't want to be an investor, or?
What was it? The Long Island Tea Company.
Yeah, Long Island Iced Tea, yeah.
Seriously? Please
It turned into Long Island blockchain.
Guys, if there's an actual, like, legitimate thing, like, that's ridiculous. So anyways, just trade something like this. I don't think investing in it I don't know what the heck they do anymore. And I obviously didn't know anyways, but you can just trade something like this. That's absolutely ridiculous. I hope people don't get caught. It operates through the T-shop chains and blockchain and digital asset mining segments. Kurt Hoffman says, okay. I mean, sure.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, that's what you got to do your own work, man. We had Alfred back on here at 12, and he was like, you know what, just invest in these value companies. I actually think that that's right. Invest in some of the best names that you can and buy them on dips and just continue to buy them and then trade bets and stuff like that on swing trades, right? Because if we don't have any idea what the company does, it's going to be hard to start recommending it. So watch out for that. I feel like if you can't explain what a company does, then you shouldn't be invested in it. It doesn't mean you can't trade it. I mean, I think trading and investing two completely different
it's 100%
animals.
If you like in like one or two sentences, what are these, like, not just what they do, how do they make money?
Or why are you in it?
Yeah, like, to me, that's usually like, how does this company make money, and why do I like that?
Right. Convince somebody to be in it with you.
If you can convince me on bets, I'm more than willing to listen. Someone tweet, if you can.
No, but other than like YOLO stuff.
Well,
you know, because it's not like the fundamentals are any good.
Yeah.
So I don't think you're going to be convinced, man.
Or
maybe they're amazing. Okay, so come back at 8. Could be the most undervalued company in the world. Bets right now. 1 cent.
I bet you it's not.
Well, I mean, what other name could be up another 100% tomorrow? I mean, there's going to be random ones, but that one being 1 cent.
CEI.
CEI, no, well, I don't know. I don't even know.
That's at 23 cents.
23 cents. Yeah, it could be up 10%. Or I said 100%.
You said 100%.
Could be up to 40 cents.
Well, that's not going 100%.
All right, so Amazon right now trying to make a move back in. I feel like we might as well just cover this. It's getting a good one. Back to the 200 period. I like that 153.20. We will get that coming out right now. There it is. The recap show is with Brian Shannon tonight, so that should be a lot of fun. Thank you to Ramin for that one right here. Let me see, there it is right now. Ooh, yeah, that's right. Santa Claus, I like that one. He's got it going there. Similar to this, I thought you were going to hit it, but similar. We should have put Santa in here. That would have been really good for December. But
yeah, I was going to. We need some holiday themed ones.
Yeah, well, now it's a little bit. I mean, maybe some New Year's ones coming through, but there's not that much time left. So join me tonight. We'll talk all about a lot of these different moves. Thank you to Ramin for that one.
And it is Brian Shannon because it's Tuesday, not Michael Noss.
Does it say Michael Noss on there?
No, just in my head, I keep thinking Michael Noss, and then you keep saying Shannon.
It is Tuesday.
Others might be doing that. In my head, I keep thinking it's Monday today, but it's
same.
It is a Tuesday today, so that means
it's Boxing Day. This is the first holiday where, thankfully Canada was very, very aggressive in this, and they finally got a holiday after Mike Tyson, so that was really good. Shout out to Justin Trudeau, he finally did something. So it's Boxing Day.
Did he though?
I don't know. Let's go handle some business with Brendan.
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and zero commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
Called in from his vacay for that, so I want to thank Brendan
that's good on him,
for that. Yeah, it's almost like coming in on your day off to shoot a podcast, but it's for everybody, so make sure you go find that out as well. I was a little bit late coming in that day, and Ramin did not like that when I came in 10 minutes late, or 15 or 20, something like that. Hey, the kid's got to be done school, man.
Fabian's laughing about it.
Yeah, Fabian's funny guy. What's up to Lava News? What's up to everybody as well? Yes, today is Neil's birthday and National Apple Fritter Day.
Boom.
I'm lying. I have no idea. I have no idea.
I will not.
I want to make it Apple. It should be.
No, I agree. It should be. I was telling Sean this though. We're having burgers tonight because I want burgers, and it's nice enough that we can actually barbecue.
It's 8 degrees.
And we have this, like, I don't know what you call it. It's like a portable fire
green egg
pit thingy.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, we can literally have the grill and do burgers, and then roast marshmallows in the backyard, which is weird. But I like s'mores too, so might be having some of those. My daughter loves s'mores.
As long as it's not raining.
Well, okay, no, if it's raining, no.
Well, then we got to cancel. I'm just hoping it doesn't rain, because I think we're doing
all of that out the window. Thanks, everybody, for the birthday wishes. It's one of those things where it's not the best day in the world to have a birthday, but you know what? You're always around. I'm always going to be around family on my birthday because I'm going to be around family on Christmas, so it's pretty much guaranteed that that's going to be the case. So I do enjoy it. I don't enjoy getting older, but I enjoy spending time with the fam. I might play a little Mario Kart tonight as well on my daughter's Switch with her. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily do that without her. Well, I would, but
I don't do anything without. Like, we were playing Switch this weekend as well. I just do everything with the kids.
I do want some suggestions on a third game. I want to get like something else.
We got the newest Mario. It's really good. It's called Mario Wonder or something like that. It's like the old Marios. It's pretty good.
Oh, like, kind of like more like the yeah.
Super Mario 1 and 2 and all that, where you go through different levels. And it's kind of like that first player game where you're going this way and not like open world. So it's pretty nice.
I'm more down with that. All that 3D Mario stuff.
That's what I mean. I don't know. I just want like simple buttons: A, B, jump.
I gotta
start, select, whatever those codes are.
I have to.
As we go, there's so many
Zelda,
good names,
apparently.
man.
It's not bad.
I don't have Zelda.
It has to be something that I'd like because I'm a bit of an old head, but that also my daughter, who's 6 years old, turning 7, will think.
Right, like I was gonna say, I have Super
pocket.
Smash Bros, but that's not a good one for her. It's fighting.
No, but she'll like the old school Mario. She loves Super Mario.
You should write down Big Brain Academy. Seriously, it's like a. You can play it, she can play it.
I'm just gonna email myself.
Yeah, no, it's math, it's science, it's literally as an Einstein on the cover. It is a fantastic Big Brain Academy, and you can thank me later. Trust me on that one.
She'll thank
Just
you.
download it. You have a Nintendo account. Don't buy any of your games. Just download them all.
No, I did.
So then it's all
I signed
on
up
the
yesterday
Switch
and everything for it.
So that's gonna be like 20 or 30 bucks. Trust me, it's the best.
Yeah, you can see my emails. It's like, just Nintendo Switch thing. I did all of that yesterday.
Wow, that's so smart, Neil. You're so good at that. But Big Brain Academy. I don't like signing up for those things. I have so many different emails that come in all the time. Okay, finally DraftKings starting to go to the downside, so hallelujah. The market's finally starting to give up a little bit here, which is good. So after all of that, we sit here all day and we talk about how bad these positions are, and it looks like we will. If I get out right now on the bid, we will be up small amounts. So hopefully this will come back in for DraftKings. Hopefully Palantir will come in. And then the rest is history. Uber right now trying to go downside as well. We already got that bid down here at 80 as we are moments away, but 1 minute away from the imbalances hitting at 350. So it always is a good idea to sort of try to get out of some of these positions as we come through. Good movie, Get Out, but I do need to get out right now. There's some more AMD, out more on that one, as we do not need to be in this right now. So let's wait to see what happens. Thank you so much, Andrew Ditter. He says, such a great show today. Well, hopefully that is every day. It looks like Meta's going down. Well, I'm already out of that one.
And good shout out there, Mr. Ditter. But the market just pulled back, so I'm just going to punch out of Intel here. It just stalled out at 50-50 at 48s. So out of that one, I'll hold on to Rivian. I have a trailing stop on it anyway, so the imbalances are about to hit. Thank you, Sailor Moon, for the super chat. Appreciated. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate you. All we ask, though, is make sure you hit the like and the subscribe. Enjoy the show. That's my only wish. Like, enjoy the show, enjoy the week trading, because there's trading opportunities all throughout this week, despite the fact that it is a holiday short week. Apple, 1 million sell imbalance, or just under it. BAC, 800,000 to sell. Pfizer, that was an early look. Wells Fargo's 800,000. It's just Apple so far. To the downside there. Cisco's a small sell. Amazon and Microsoft, 600,000 each to the sell side. $3 billion to sell.
I was going to say, you think it's a small sell until I just saw what the hell Adara put in there.
I mean, it doesn't feel like it.
3 billion, not 3 milli.
But that's 3 billion, so it is what it is. Okay, what's Apple doing on that?
You know what? I didn't even look at the imbalance.
Oh, that's a decent. That's not bad. Apple actually pulling back off the highs. So Apple gets right into that 193.5 and dumps into 193. The last 20 cents coming right on those imbalances. So they did move a little bit there. I'm just going to hold on to Rivian through the close. Probably move the trailing stop into 80. No, I should get on the bid right here at 23, like 67 or 68. Just right in front of that support level.
All right, we'll get out of Amazon here for 50 cents or whatever. Nice little move down as we saw that imbalance come through as well. So we'll get out there at 35 or whatever that was there on that. Unfortunately, I got to get ready. I got to go over to the big desk in a minute. But Palantir, actually, I didn't even do anything over there today. Oh, man, I got to go log in.
Is it even
turned on, that computer? It must be Sharif.
No, it has to be Sharif was there.
No, or Adara. No, Sharif wasn't. Is that computer turned on beside you, Adara? Great. I'll have to go over there and look.
Make sure it's powered on.
Yeah. All right. So right now, Palantir. I was going to look for it on the imbalances, but now I'm all flustered. Let me just have a quick look here. I don't see it anything as significant, so we'll have to hold on Palantir. I just got to start getting some out. As this day's coming to a close, good saved, pretty much saved there by the bell, honestly. DraftKings went down. We got some 46. Like, look at this. We got 46s, 47s, 48s. We were making money at 48, so we're making good money at 46. Obviously, we wish that was a 36 or 26, but we can't handle that. We can't make it move, so we'll wait on that one. AMD AMD, a nice pull as well. Let's just start to get out as all these imbalances are starting to hit the market. So yeah, good data short in the last 5 minutes, but not really great all afternoon. There's the move down finally, trying to make its way back to 17,000. Still got a ways to go. 17.1 right now on watch.
Yes, sir. And my last position now out. I just got the fill on Rivian. I just popped a bit at 70, and it just broke. With 7 minutes to go, we are pretty much, the market's still up 0.6%, so we're still on target almost exactly for the average of the Santa Claus rally, but there were some opportunities to have a bit of a pullback trade. Rivian, just to me, underneath the 24 level. If it's above 24 tomorrow, oh yeah, my chart crashed, so I have to do this thing very quickly. See that? And then I go do not share on every single window and then move it on back over there. So if it's back above 24, I think I still like this for a potential like secondary break. Maybe it gets into 24, 25. It's at the resistance spot from its last little bit of a move. So I think there's going to be some fade plays in there to be able to short the stock, play inside of the range on Rivian. But at some point, I'm looking for this to take another leg to the upside and continue its breakout. John Womack is Bad Santa in top 5 of Christmas movies. I haven't thought about my top 5 Christmas movies, to be honest with you. I've never really compiled a list. I can promise you this. Home Alone and Die Hard are in my top 5 Christmas movies. I don't know about the other 3. I'd have to think on that. I love Bad Santa. I just don't know if I'd put it.
The funny thing about Die Hard is it's like,
it kind of isn't, but
it was released in July. I just don't know. Don't know.
It's like a cult thing now. It's not really a Christmas movie.
It's not a Christmas movie,
but it is.
But it is. I mean, it does get played at Christmas. Yeah. It just happens to be the Christmas time. I don't mind it.
It's become a thing when it necessarily shouldn't have been. My wife's into it as well. But Friday After Next, that's really bad.
I mean, but maybe it's Christmas, right?
It is. No, Friday After Next is the Christmas
right,
one.
That's what I'm saying.
And
so
that
like,
is
what are we
Christmas
counting?
Movie, but my goodness, Cat Williams was funny in that. And the dude that played Pinky, I don't know the actor's name. He's hilarious, man. Like that.
There's a lot of funny.
Yeah, there's some funny stuff in there. Terry Crews is in it, but as far as Christmas movies go, that's way down there on the list. I like some traditional, like old school. Like we watched Charlie Brown Christmas.
Of course,
right?
we do that too.
Like the old school. Like it's only like 30 minutes long. But I absolutely love that. I'll watch every single time.
Yeah, oh yeah, you got to watch that one for sure. Okay, I'm just starting to get out of some things now, and they've all sort of worked out for us here in the afternoon. So besides the only trade that really, so we had 2 trades now that I think about it. We had a firm, which was bad all the way to the upside, but you don't need a lot of, this was okay because we don't need a lot of shares to make money, so thankfully we weren't in a lot of shares. Meta is a stock that was maybe a little bit, I don't know, I mean, it did fall back down. Feel like there's no way I could have waited for this 355.50. There really wasn't anything there. If we faded off 356, maybe I would have felt worse, but I was okay trying to do all that. But our last trade was an out and a miss on Meta. And then we did AMD, like, let's go. That AMD was money. I mean, all we did was be very, very patient and waited for this move. It was a little bit scary at some points there, but again, good patience for AMD. Wow, I mean, to be able to be short and it be like one of the top stocks, pretty amazing. So that was good. Definitely missed opportunity on the longs there for AMD. And then, like we said, DraftKings, like it just went up, it just went down. We got some more fills there at 50. Actually, that went down to 46. So let me put some more bids. Actually, I am bidding 46. Let me just put a little bit more down here. 48s, 46s, 42s. Just clearing everything up. And like I said, DraftKings will be a positive name, as will Palantir, as this is. So there we go. So actually, everything into the afternoon is completely fine. It's just missed opportunities by this not happening earlier and then not getting sort of the benefit. There it is. See, as we just sort of whoosh through there, 68. So we get some fills there. And now we are out of this position as, again, positive names, man. Palantir, I keep saying Robux because that's what my kids ask for. Roblox as well. And then DraftKings. Again, let's see where it goes, but going to be a positive name on that as well. So with only 3 minutes to go, pretty good day here. Missed opportunities by far would be what we wrote down on our sticky note when I clearly said absolutely no reason not to take a 50 long. So feel like Intel owes me a little bit there, but we should have had that and we didn't. So that's the biggest mistake for me today, was not having Intel breaking through $50. Join me in 2 minutes as we'll do the market recap, and then we have Brian Shannon on. It's only a half hour, so make sure you watch that.
And believe it or not, I can't believe this just happened. Bets just bounced off 1 cent again. talk about a psychological lower. It's not a psychological level. 1 cent is obviously a level on this stock just because it's around penny, but it's bounced now twice and giving you 10 cents. It's going to close above 1 cent. This might be a trade tomorrow. I think I'm gonna put this on one of my level twos and maybe have this up for a continuation play because it's been the word I want to use is dumpster fire, but you can see on the daily, like it's rounding off the bottom. It just held at half a cent. It's now breaking the 1 cent level. I could easily, why not be at 2.5 or 3 cents? Or at least to 2. So if it's going to make a stair step to the upside, I think this is worth it going into tomorrow. I wish I had held on to Rivian. The only mistake, and I actually just tweeted this out, and it is a mistake, was not getting short going into VWAP, but not getting any as it's rolling out of VWAP, and specifically right here. When it failed 24, there was a chance to add to it in the low to mid 90s and work back into more short. Try to short relatively weak names. This is a stock that was strong in the morning, completely pulled back right into VWAP and then failed at VWAP. A couple of bounce off VWAP that failed, another bounce here that failed. And then you could have this short, but if you miss it, look for it back into 24. It's always easier to go long, strong stocks and short, weak ones. I think a good example of that, like long Intel today, pretty much the entire day. Rivian was a decent short after it started to turn around. And shout out to everyone that actually went for Mara into 27. Mara just keeps on going. It was red pretty much the entirety of the session, and it's going to close 1% to the upside. Still giving you moves every single day. I think this one has to be on our radar. Pretty much every day Mara is on your radar. Coinbase is a good one, but Mara, from percentage gains, it can be a little bit more exciting at times, and the consolidation day is consolidating and breaking to the upside on Mara. It's hard to hold it all day long there. Pauly D, we know who you are, D's. You said you sold Mara too early. Don't be sad. If you made a gain, you made a gain. No one ever holds for the perfect move. It doesn't really happen. All you can try to do is get a winning trade on it. If you were long this one today at any reasonable price, I think you got yourself a winner. 30 seconds to go. Remember, you're not going anywhere. We're done here. You're going right on over the desk. It is still like normal. The market recap show will be Brian Shannon because it is a Tuesday on Boxing Day, a Canadian holiday, but the U.S. markets were open and they gave us some trading opportunities and we're happy for it. So let's get on over and let's count it down with Adara putting in work today despite not being 100%. Shout out to you. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and ring it. As I cancel my Rivian script stop, which I punched out, but still have an order in there. I just want to make sure we don't still have that. Shout out to everyone. Appreciate the birthday wishes. I'm a year older, but you're as young as you feel, and you never work a day in the life if you enjoy what it is that you do. As always, want to shout out to Fabian and Ramin on the 1s and 2s, trucking in here today, eating some pizza for lunch. That was a good choice. I don't know why Ramin has a toque on today, but she's been wearing it all day. It's 10 degrees outside, and it has been cold in here. How many times have you seen Sean and I not like rubbing our hands like it's freezing cold on the office? And it's not. But it is what it is. Shout out as always to Adara and Sharif doing a fantastic job. Learn to trade on the midday. And the debut of Alfred, the value investor. Want to thank him for coming on through. He'll be back tomorrow to have a discussion again with Sharif. I thought it was fantastic today. If you got any questions, pop them in there and we'll get them going again tomorrow. He'll be on, I think, at the same time, about noon. You know we're going to be back here. Sharif is also doing a fantastic job filling in for Brennan. Brennan is off for the majority of this week, getting some much needed rest. The market isn't resting. The market up 0.6%. We're not resting. We'll be back again tomorrow, but you know where you're going. We're going from here, and we're going over to the desk. It's the market recap. Special guest Brian Shannon and my man Sean at the desk.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Yeah, it's the market recap show. Oh, I failed to log in over here. Okay, hold on a second here. All right, wrong passwords. Hey, how's it going? Look at the screen over here right now as we have the market recap show ready to go. One name on our ETF list is red today. Can you guess what it is? It's in the energy space, and here it is right now. It's UNG. I know, like, how come, like, it's such a big red thing there, then everything else green down here, including, which is kind of strange because you have UNG today, which is red, down 2.18%, and then you have OIH up. We'll talk about oil a little bit later. That's been absolutely amazing off the bottoms. I mean, oil hasn't been that great here, as this is oil services, but if you're gonna look at USO, what a great bottom that was. Again, like, just coming back in, didn't quite get to 60. Of course, this is not light sweet crude. This is the United States Oil Fund, but a nice bump up, back up to the 200 period, and all things looking pretty well right now. Thank you so much for joining, man. It's been a busy day. Little bit of action coming into this close. Nice move to the downside as we held a couple of shorts. Just didn't believe this market would just keep on going up, but ho, ho, ho. Santa Claus rally continues up today, and it's going to start with the triple Qs. As you can see here, the triple Qs today up 0.61. I think it goes with 0.3 it was on, I don't know what date it is anymore, on Friday. So you're up about 1% in the first 2 days. Right on track, man. It's 2.7% on average in 5 days. So you're looking at 0.5% a day, and it looks like we're doing that again. That's USO. And of course, the energy names really rallied today. Some nice strength in there. The U.S. Federal Reserve, again, are going to be reducing interest rates. That's good for global expansion and growth. So as sort of maybe some of these worries come out in China, we saw Nio with a nice move to the upside. We saw Alibaba. I could see obviously the R word being swept under the rug a little bit. That's going to be recession. And when that happens, you get oil and all of that moving one way. And right now, oil kind of saying, hold my beer, with a nice move back up today with USO up 2%. TAN, another one of those beneficiaries as you look for lower rates. Way more affordable to be able to set up those solar panels when you can borrow money at a rate that helps. You know what, I was actually thinking about this. Let's just check out IYR for real estate or housings. We can check out all this. But like right now with mortgage rates, it's not actually in Canada, we have to reset every 5 years. So there's going to be a lot of homes that could be, I don't want to say underwater because our real estate market has really sort of accelerated here. But depending on where you are, it's going to be hard to refinance some of those loans. And again, you're just coming now into kind of new rates for everybody here in Canada and across the border. I know mortgages have come back in a little bit on the mortgage rate. Look what happened with Fannie Mae today. All the way, like Fannie Mae, really huge move. We'll look to trade some of this tomorrow, possibly on the pink sheets as well. But look at this move on Fannie Mae. I don't know what started this. We'll have to check out where mortgage rates made today, but Fannie Mae up 30% today with an absolutely monstrous move. Reminds me of going back over, looking at this XHB. This is what it looks like on a weekly chart. Where's my guy Fabian? I was going to say maybe a water, but that's okay. I know you're switching now, so it's all good. But look at XHB off the bottom of 70, trying to take out 73. And look at this. Now new fresh highs on the home builders. We talked about the Russell going from top to bottom in 38 weeks or something like that, or 38 trading days, sorry, 52-week low to 52-week high. Look at XHB. Nowhere near the 52-week low, but not far off of it, man. Down to 64, now all the way back to $96. Wow, as that continues to go. What else is interesting to us here today? I said that I really liked XLU. No, sorry, that's the sector spider. I wanted XL. What did I talk about on the XRT? Was the retail as well? I wanted the biotech name with Eli Lilly X. Why can't I remember what this one is? I'm going to go over to the chat here. What's the biotech? I know IBB is it, but that's not the one. What's the X one that I recommended on the podcast? I'm just losing my mind right now. Let me go over here. Man needs a cold one. Man needs something over here right now. It won't be XBI. Thank you so much for that one. I really like, I like that. Thank you, Professor Love and Comp SRX1. I just really like these names because, again, of what we talked about before. And that is, simply put, what's in some of these names, right? The biotech names, you've got a nice little bump up with Eli Lilly. I think there's going to be a lot of news there. Pfizer, you're going to be involved with. Thanks, Obi. I'll take that. Thank you so much, Obi. Cheers, my guy. Obi, it's water. What the hell? No, but This is actually not even the layout that I had for Trade Ideas, so I'll do better tomorrow and be better prepared to show you some of the constituents in some of these ETFs. But what about KRE again, another one that's really starting to work to the upside. Some of these regional banks just continue to sort of climb higher and higher and higher. How do I kind of like get these to reverse? I want like the green names up here and vice versa. But XHB, XLK, of course, FXI, the Chinese ETF, I think is another pretty interesting name to look out for right here. Could be something. And then what about SMH with some of the semis? I just want to thank everybody right now for joining. Look at SMH, 175, 176. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit everything. We got Brian Shannon coming on pretty soon, so that should be pretty exciting as we go. And we do have right now, brought to you by, I have Benzinga going as well. Not much happening in the news wire, so if anything does hit, I'll bring you anything off Benzinga right now. So anything in here. Microsoft, nothing there. Big cup of mediocrity. Okay, we'll find out about that one. Who downgraded? Starfield's ratings, mostly negative. Oh, Starfield, the game, mostly negative on Steam. Okay, so I guess that's a hit piece against Microsoft there. But if anything comes in here, we will have it hit piece. I guess not a hit piece. And then we also do have Benzinga coming through. And then today, obviously, was a very, very important day in the market because it's the end of the year. Start the week off heading into the last rally, which is the Santa Claus rally. So if you're coming, I'm just going to Google it here and just show you what I mean when I talk about how far the Santa Claus rally needs to go in order for it to be the truth. So start what is. I just want to show you guys that it's 2.7% for that as it goes heading upside. So we just have the triple Qs right now, and it's supposed to be the SPY. But guess what? Breaking news and banging it out right now. We'll go breaking news because guess what? Today, here it is right here, 79% of the time up, 1.4% in the S&P 500, 2.7% in the NASDAQ. But the SPY, take it or leave it, I'm going to take it because guess what? Today, we actually doesn't look like we did it on SPY, but we did it on the ES. We took out past highs on the ES. So that happened today. We're all the way back, baby. So this goes all the way back, as you can see, back into 2021 when we hit those highs back in December. The NASDAQ and the SPY, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ seems to be all the way back. The one name that isn't, but is really outperforming, I don't know what to do about IWM. There's definitely, I'm a little bit light in IWM. We're going to actually have that up here to see 1.27%. Here it is right here. One of the best indexes today, and it's really starting to exceed expectations, in my opinion, on the Russell 2000. Its top to bottom is absolutely huge. We were just at 164 back in October, up to 203, right? That's a huge move for the index, but again, being sparked by a lot of these lesser names. I mean, look at Affirm. I'm actually not going to call up Affirm on I'm going to call up Affirm on a daily here if I can get it. This was a name that we really struggled with early today, just not believing in it. Here's what I did on Affirm. Let me just show you. AFRM. Don't show these trades to Brian because I normally only show him good trades, so you know we don't want. Oh, he's watching right now. Damn it, Brian, close your eyes. But no, I'm just playing around. We all look. If you're a real trader, you know, shout out to Brian, shout out to me, shout out to a lot of you guys watching as well. It's going to be ridiculous for me to sit here and act like we're not, you know, we're on the up and up. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I want you to trade this penny stock so that we can all get into it and it can moon, right? There's going to be a lot of other places that do stuff like that. For me, sometimes we'll take swings and misses. Sometimes we'll take swings and there'll be some nice hits. But here I am to show you what happened on Affirm. I mean, I thought right into here when we were kind of barcoding that I thought Affirm had seen better days, man, and this $50 was no more. I thought the market was going to pull back today. Silly me. Look at Affirm. Nice move to the upside. So we were short in here. Should have got out when we realized that there just was no dumping happening in Affirm. Average, average, average until eventually we break through 50. It's a good thing we're able to get a little bit out, but that was a big L for us on that one. The one that worked out for us at the end of the day, as far as an average in, was DraftKings. And this one, Brian will like. Why? Because I'm actually a little bit smarter here, because we were underneath VWAP. I should be shorting names that are underneath VWAP. That was the case here for DraftKings. So that was bad. We talked about that. I really thought that we were going to be breaking lower here. So we did take an early position, unable to get out of it until we had some better fills upside here on DraftKings closer to VWAP. These are like 5 cents away. So that made sense. And it's too bad that the market closed, because I really feel like we would have dipped down. But again, there's some 56s out 46. Those were some good trades. For trade of the day, I don't really have anything specifically right now, but just look at the NASDAQ and what was happening here for the Qs today. We have a bad wick. Hold on, let me just try to edit this real quick. Actually, you know what I can do is say forget about you and go back over quickly to trade ideas and just have a quick look at what we did here on this chart. So this is the daily. You can see huge dump in October. Nice huge dump. That doesn't sound good. Nice dump there in October. And then another one, a little bit of a pullback into 384, 385 at the beginning of the month. But since then, man, straight upside. And then look at what we did today on a 3-minute chart. I mean, this was telling. As soon as the market really started to go early, it's not even like it went. It's just this initial move probably should have been respected. I don't have VWAP on this chart. I should probably put it in. I wonder if we drop back into that level. But for me, it was pretty hard to believe in this move. It's a good thing this happened at the end of the day, because we were able to catch it. And I did really like Google was my #1 net name, taking advantage of this early break right there at 142. So we played the long, had some nice moves, but then it really faded all day. And hold me to this or not, I'm going to be trading live tomorrow, so guess what? I'll be here. I actually feel like we could actually maybe make a move down tomorrow. I'm going to be interested to hear if Brian has any thoughts on that one to see if there was any movement. Here's Santa Claus rally. During the 2023 Santa Claus last year, Santa Claus rally, the final 5 days of trade in December, we talked about that, right? Started on Friday, we'll end this coming Friday as well, because we had yesterday off. The first 2 of January, S&P 500 rose only 0.8 last year. Okay, so there it is right now. And here's the average, if you guys don't believe me, with growth in the S&P 500, 1.4%, right? 79% of the time. So we're getting much closer to the Santa Claus rally, and I did want to talk about that. So that's why, topic next. We were sort of just discussing that a little bit. So if something's going to stop in the Santa Claus rally, and we do have my tweets to come, there are a couple names. Procter & Gamble, I think, is pretty low right now. J&J also. I mean, look at the daily chart on some of these names. If you are thinking about picking up something under the 200 period, J&J is under here as well. And then we talked about some energy names like, XOM has made a nice move back from that 98 bottom as well. Okay, I'm going to turn my screen around, because guess what? I want to bring on Mr. Brian Shannon. I actually don't have his book. Oh, his book is over there. If you guys are interested in anything about anchored VWAP or just trading in general, this is the man for you. It's Trader Talk. It's Brian Shannon. Let's go. Mr. Shannon, happy holidays. How was Christmas for you and your family?
It was good. How about you, Sean?
It wasn't too bad. I got some new golf shoes, these new Adidas ones. They're Ultra Boost. They're supposed to be really super comfortable, so I'm excited for that. Got a few new things, a couple pairs of pants, not a new shirt, as I wear this all the time. And yeah, a couple fun things coming through. How about yourself?
I've got the flannel on here today, too.
I like that.
Spent some time with my grandkids yesterday, so that was fun. And, more about them than what I was doing.
Isn't it? That's the thing. Isn't it great that having kids and then grandkids, you can sort of relive everything all back and forth. So spending time with my parents as well and my family, very, very important. Okay, what a day, man. I only have one index down. That's UNG today. Nice little rally. You believe in the Santa Claus rally? I mean, who doesn't? 79% of the time, we just showed it.
I believe in what I see and what the prices tell me. And, 79% of the time, that's darn good odds. And prices backing it up this year again so far.
I noticed that you have Google up here. So I had a decent trade on Google. Today, Google broke through its 52-week high. So those are always something that were pretty actionable, especially off the open, and especially for sort of day traders like us, looking for actionable events. 52-week high, generally something to look at. We saw the S&P and NASDAQ can kind of pull back sometimes when they hit those highs and make a move back in. I feel like we saw that with Google today. Nice move up into that 143-ish area, and then a pull back in to close, not necessarily near the lows, but there was a nice move in Google. Anything you want to talk about on that?
Sure. Like you said, I mean, a lot of times we see these new highs and then they start to pull in, especially after we see the magnitude of rally we've seen. Just 2 weeks ago, down at 130, so we rallied 10% to get to that new high. And what we often see is the, I hate to say it, but, kind of uneducated short sellers have their, final stand. They say, hey, if it breaks to a new all-time high, then I'm going to get out. And guess what? That's when the longs start to think, hey, well, if those shorts are finally giving up, maybe it's time to feed them a little bit. So we'll sell in here and lighten up a little bit and, just lighten up basically, because there's no reason to sell a good long position like this. But if it starts to pull back in the next week or two, that would be a really nice setup for continuation up higher again. So the trend's your friend, but you got to be a little bit wary once they get extended like this.
Yeah, so let's do a little bit. I mean, I am worried, actually, to be quite honest with you, but we've talked about this before. Google's in my long-term portfolio, so I don't plan on selling it, but maybe we can go over something. I use the 200 period, and I know that me and you have gone back and forth with, where do you get out, where are some levels of support and things like that, but maybe with the VWAP or an anchored VWAP or something, if traders are long heading into this 52-week high break, and maybe now we're getting nervous, like you said, the shorts could getting a little bit of food here as it made the move back down. They're a little hungry, these shorts. So we'll see if they can get filled. But is there a spot maybe of interest where some traders could say, hey, if we don't hold this level, then potentially lighten up? And it could also be not to ask you to get out, but it could also be an area to buy back in as well. What are the key areas maybe in Google that we can quickly look at?
Sure. On the weekly chart, I'm realizing this isn't actually an all-time high, but just a 52-week high.
Yeah.
But looking to the shorter-term time frame, I would not consider this trend broken until we start to see something like this happen, and that's the 5-day moving average. So, if it was to pull back down, then sure, good little day trade. But if it starts to distribute, then gets trapped underneath that 5-day moving average, then I would look for, this scenario over here in the daily time frame to play out. And what would happen in that case is that 5-day moving average I had sketched in would kind of look like this. And then maybe in a week or two, it would be a buy above that flat to rising 5-day moving average. A good example, Sean, to switch gears quickly, was that I posted this on Twitter today. ESTC is one that I've had my eye on for a little bit because it had this big gap up. And it's just kind of gone sideways. But if you look at the longer term chart, it's a beautiful stage 2 uptrend here. So what I've been hoping would happen, I kind of sketched it and it worked that way, just happened to. But the anchored volume weighted average price from that gap, you can see we had a little shakeout below it. And then it got above that 5-day moving average, but it was clearly extended there. So what I was looking for was it to test that 5-day moving average. And now in here, it looks like it's getting ready to go. So bringing it back to Google, if we see Google kind of get stuck below that 5-day moving average, I wouldn't want to be a buyer in there, but instead somewhere over here on this side, as it starts to rally up back again, something like this.
That stock looks pretty elastic.
Yeah, elastic. Good one. Hey, I got something special for you, Sean.
What's that?
I got a sticky note.
Oh, that's it, Brian. You know what? Now that you show it to me.
Am I fired or is this good?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, I'm pretty happy, but let's spread the sticky note, wealth across the world. So I think there it is. We have a little graphic up as well. Thank you, Brian. No, I'm just playing around. We love that. Thank you so much for that. The sticky note. Look, you know why I created that, Brian? I mean, it's the same thing I think as you. Is that there's so many names to look at that are always kind of setting up. And then I find myself being on the show is that sometimes I'll look over and I'll be like, what the heck am I doing with 8 positions,
Right.
And it's like, I need to focus on what I'm doing because realistically, maybe we could talk about this. I mean, it's like, I don't need to be short Apple, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon. Like, to me, those are 4 names that are very similar. If one thing goes wrong, I could lose on all 4. So I'm trying to be a little more specific in what we're doing. And I do like that on the sticky note that you're using that. We have a couple traders around here. Miss Danielle Shea has taken that from me as well.
Oh, nice.
Let's just grow Sticky Note Nation and get it going. Is there anything you have going on in the next couple of days with anything, any sort of webcasts or webinars that we might want to talk about? Everyone can, of course, go find you on X at Alpha Trends. I'm not letting you go, by the way. I just want to know.
No, there's nothing I have planned there. I purposefully, made this is my favorite one, so here I am today.
Wow. That is, thank you so much for that commitment. And I got to be honest with you, I wasn't sure if Brian was going to come in. I sent him a quick message today. He responded was almost immediately, yes, sir, I'm coming in. And whatever you want to talk about, so that's great. Maybe we'll do a Q&A if you're around next week for a couple questions. We'll take it from the crowd here because honestly, it is pretty slow right now. Just a quick little job here if we can't look at maybe XOM. We often get some talks here about ExxonMobil. So come over to my screen, maybe here real quick, and we'll let Brian set up. Down in near $100 right now. I like this name, a nice little dividend in the 3 to 4% range. I know we don't buy stock necessarily for dividend, but it is nice to get some yield. And when you look back, you are at some of these nice levels, but Brian, we're still under this is me being simple, and I try to keep it simple and then give it to the experts like you, but we're still under the 50 period, and we are under the 200 simple on the daily. And even if you go back into a weekly chart on ExxonMobil, there's a lot of love at this $100 level, man. $98. It's just looking like if we lose that, I'm not even really that worried. I mean, we can watch the underlying asset with oil, but this to me might be worth a pickup. We do have a monster buyback on with XOM as well, but I'm thinking about buying some more here. Let's wait to see, but how is XOM looking? Is there anything that maybe these longs need to be worried about, especially if we break that 98?
Yeah, I mean, so as you pointed out, on the weekly chart, which I have up here, looking at just classic stage analysis, when we're below those longer term moving averages, the 10, 20, 30, 40 week, which 10 week is the 50-day, 40 week is the 200-day, as we know, we're guilty till proven innocent. I want to see it start to turn sideways and then buy strength. Once it shows that strength, and then we're showing higher highs and higher lows above those moving averages, that's when I want to be long. Now we have this indecision right in here. Now this could be, it's just basing, building energy for the next move higher, but with those moving averages heading lower, it runs the risk of perhaps another downtrend emerging, and a 3% dividend is going to get wiped out in one day's loss.
Right.
So I would wait on this personally. I don't have a long-term investor's mentality. I think it's unlikely that this is going to happen, but it's possible, and that's what keeps me a little bit more defensive.
Was there any trading for yourself today, or was it just a Trader TV live appearance? Because maybe there was a name or something you want to discuss that you went through today. I don't know. No,
there actually were. So I'm still holding some of the ones we spoke about last week.
Right.
But there was actually purpose to this sticky note. If you look at the label, it says low price names.
Pull it back a little bit. Pull it back a little bit. Oh, it's not zooming. There it is. Stop. There it is.
Here.
No. Now I can't. No. One more. Stop. What does it say?
Okay.
Low.
Here. It's ADT.
Yeah.
So these are ones I think in the next couple days.
All right.
Could have the potential to go. ADT is a low price name. I think most people know that name, the security company.
Yep.
It's banging away at that anchored VWAP from the all-time high. A lot of these low-price names get going into the end of the year. So I don't have a position in this one. I'm keeping a close eye on it here. It's just rallied up on heavier and increasing volume. It's now pulling back on lighter volume. So that's one that has the potential to get going. BIGC was another one of those, if I could type it in properly, BIGC. So you can see that one's also right up against the anchored VWAP from the high in August. And longer term, if we look at the weekly chart, that's got some room to run. So these are the types of names that maybe in the next couple of days, some institutions are going to try to run them to pad their performance. Joby is another one, JOBY, the weekly time frame. REKR, there's the weekly time frame, and there's the daily. So you can see it's starting to perk up a little bit. It trades, a million shares a day, and there's a big short position in SOFI, and this one has been going a little bit.
No.
And when you look at that weekly chart, it's got some room to run. So those are some names I'm going to keep an eye on through the end of the week and, see how they set up.
That's amazing because, yeah, I was actually pretty lucky enough to buy some SoFi in the low 6s and then again at 7 when we started to break higher. So I'm definitely waiting for that $10 break. Okay, look, one more name because we still have 2,000 watching, which is actually incredible. I didn't think we'd have that many. So I want to thank you and everyone sticking around for you, Brian. So that is fantastic. I want to thank you for coming in one more time. Okay, you like coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Coffee.
I drink them both, but I prefer coffee.
Sign this man up. You know what I had for the first time today, actually? And this is going to, maybe I'm weak for doing this. I had a matcha latte. I never had one of those before. And I said half sugar. It was pretty good. I don't know. Because I was thinking.
I don't think I've ever had one.
Yeah, I hadn't either. And then I mentioned to the wife, and then she gave me something in my stocking, which was like little matcha things. And then today, because, do you know that's Canadian holiday today?
Boxing Day.
That's right. That's right. We finally.
What exactly is that, though?
Well, it's because Lennox Lewis was born in England, but resided here in Canada, and of course he won all those belts, but has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with boxing. He's Canadian. No, it's an Old English holiday from here being in Canada. So that was part of it. Again, not our Constitution, but obviously being from that side. Being in the U.S. as opposed to Canada. We have Boxing Day. I know you guys do not. And I don't know exactly the history of it, but it's an Old English tradition where I believe they used to take out the presents in all the boxes. I don't know exactly what's up with it, but it is Boxing Day. What about Starbucks is what I'm getting at here. Starbucks has been in real problem, and I know there's been something about Palestine. There's been a little bit of back and forth with that and some political stuff. But right now, Starbucks, with the nice move back into $95, there's some people in the chat. What's up to Jai, who asked about it. Are we in trouble here? I think you lose 90, you definitely headed back down into 80. I'm a little nervous about Starbucks, but I would like to buy a little bit more. My wife spends enough money there.
Yeah, I don't really see anything compelling here. It's just back and forth above and below these moving averages. It tried to get going, but it was extended there, and then it failed. So from a failed move came a fast move, and now we're just stuck in a. I don't see anything there, Sean. To me, it's just an avoid. If I look at it and it looks like a mess, the message is clear. Leave it alone.
Yeah, so no touch until we see something.
Yeah.
All right. So come over to my screen, Brian. We'll do this together.
Yes.
Boxing Day originated in Victorian England, diverges from its Boxing Day sport misconception. It symbolizes generosity as the affluent once boxed surplus items for the less fortunate. So there you go. So yeah, it was pretty close there. This globally embraces holiday extends beyond the UK, celebrated with unique regional flavors in Australia, Canada, and in Europe. So it does have to do with something like that. But that's Boxing Day, and it's very, very similar to I guess Black Friday. So right now you'll get all flooded with emails telling you to go to this store and get those great deals. So we'll stay away from Starbucks, but what's your order if you went there? Just straight coffee or?
Straight coffee, black, yeah.
Yeah, black. Okay, I don't mind. I get a little splash of milk. I've been trying out like almond milk and oat milk. I don't know, get a little nuttier flavor in there. Maybe I'm nuts. Maybe I'm nuts, as my wife says. Could be. Okay, Brian, I like the sticky note. I'll send you a bill tomorrow, but that was great. Thank you for all the analysis there, especially on Starbucks. And hey, happy rest of your week, and we'll see you next week.
You too,
and we'll
Sean.
take a couple questions. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, thanks.
Ciao, my friend.
Bye.
Yeah, Boxing Day. Okay, yeah, it is Boxing Day right now, and that's great, man. Secular holiday, of course, celebrated here in Canada. All right, that's about it, man. It's 4:29. I want to thank everybody for coming through, and you know how we do that with roll call. All right, that's pretty smooth, right? That was pretty good. That was a pretty smooth transition right there. Again, can't do a roll call without saying a shout out to Brian, who was just there, and I want to thank him. And I want to thank Jay for that question as well. JAI in the chat there. Thank you so much for that question for Brian. And again, next time I'll ask a little bit more ahead of time. And next week, join me next Tuesday, as long as everything's all good. We'll have Brian. Wait a minute, what day do we have off? What day is New Year's Day? We have Monday off, so join me next Tuesday as we'll have Brian back on, and I got to get Michael on as well, Michael Noss. Okay, so quickly here, it's roll call time, baby, but I'm going to get in trouble if I don't do this first. It's Super Chat time. DJ Dubs, Andrew Ditter, Weaver, Corey, Sweetie Pie, Diamond Realty of Miami, John G. Thank you so much to everybody, man. It's been a great show. Ahmed, Nick Dub, John H.D. Westermeyer, Arsis FX, Soldier for Christ, The Haze Days, Andrew again, Sailor Moon, and some new members, TJ, Natasha, Sky Bear, Hold My Beer. Shout out to everybody for joining us today. And here we go. It's another Monday off. No, it's not, man. It's not Monday. Oh, Juan Padilla. I thought you were saying today was Monday. It's Tuesday. So shout out to Juan. Shout out to everybody that's here. Monty G's here. Carlos is here. Bishop is here. He's a lumberjack and he's okay. Thank you, Bishop. Thank you, Bears vs. Bulls. Thank you to Rich Naples, man. Look, we're here. Every day we're here. I came in on my day off to film the podcast. Oh, by the way, if you're still watching, thank you so much. But make sure you hit that podcast. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple. Just type in Trader TV Live. It'll come up. It's on YouTube. Man, that was a lot of fun. Canned. I told Brendan on the podcast that canned would destroy fresh cranberry sauce, and it wasn't even close. I didn't even see anybody that favored fresh. So go on the podcast, type in a comment, and let me know right there. Shout out to everybody as well. Good night to everybody. Good night to Noah. Thank you to Rare Seed. Thank you to everybody, man. The podcast is up. Go get it in the chat right there. Thank you so much for joining. What else did I put on there? Boxing Day. That's right. We just did talk about that. Celebrate to everybody. I hope everybody had a fantastic holiday. I'm going to be back tomorrow. Well, hopefully we'll be able to spend that money one more time. Thank you so much. I'm Trader TV Sean on Twitter and on Instagram. Go find me and go follow me. Thank you to Fabian and thank you to Ramin for all their hard work today. That is for sure. I hope Brendan's enjoying his holiday. But hey, we're back tomorrow. Myself, Neil, Adara, and Sharif, and Alfred, I think, is coming back on the midday show. Is that right? Or is that right? Talk to you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much and see you then. Ciao.